Ooh. Ooh. Oh, wait. I know. Wait, hold on. Before I begin, it is the last Spooktober for this year. We need to get started on the right foot here with the thing that makes me happy. The happy sound. Okay, that's probably kind of loud. We'll stop. There'll be a trumpet to start here tonight. So, anyway, welcome to the stream. It is Halloween night, the last night of Spooktober. So I'm going to be streaming. I think we're streaming a special game, actually. I shouldn't say actually so much. I apologize. It's a special game to me. It's kind of hard to explain why, but this game, the Radical Dreamers. This is supposed to be this game is the pseudo-sequel to Chrono Trigger. So, for anybody unaware, it's more of a visual novel type of pseudo-sequel, and this was the basis for Chrono Cross, which came out, which was still a pseudo-sequel to Chrono Trigger that came out much later on. But okay, why is this a Spooktober game though? Actually, so if you never actually played this game before, imagine being back in like the early 2000s or late 90s and looking for the actual Chrono, hearing about the legend of the supposedly Chrono Trigger sequel game called Radical Dreamers, and you're just kind of a young kid looking up ROMs in your youth, trying to figure out, oh, what is this thing about? It's released on a satellite view. What the hell is a satellite view? So you go find this game, and you try and load it up and see what it's about. It's all in Japanese. You don't know what's going on. But one thing is that this really creepy, atmospheric music kind of takes over out of the darkness of this game. And the only thing you can figure out is that you have a bunch of people going into this mansion at night, and a lot of weird, creepy stuff happens. And not knowing the story at all, it was a very creepy game for me in my youth. Just want to put it that way. That's why this is a Spooktober game to me. It may not be that way for other people, but so as we kind of get into it and play, you'll probably see why this game. It's not the really happy-go-lucky theme like Chrono Trigger had. It's actually kind of a dark game in many ways, so. But it is a visual novel, so there's not really a whole lot of action going on in it, but it is a lot of dialogue, so sit tight for Halloween night here as we take a look at the spooky tale of, I believe it's Kid, Serge, and Magil. Magil? Supposed to be Magus. But anyway. Yeah, anyway, this is the translated version. I've played through the translated version before. So, this is a translated version by Demi-Force, which is, I guess, the official translated version of the game. Oh, anyway, it was then that I opened the notebook my mother had given me. She said she found it while cleaning out the closet. Crumbling and covered with dust, it turned out to be the diary of my long-lost grandfather. Do you still remember how we first met and all of our adventures since? It all seems like such a dream nowadays. You were a piece of a star that fell from the sky. Whenever I want to return to those days long gone, close my eyes and whisper your name into the evening sky. Kid. It's a weird name to yell into the sky. Kid, even though I wish you were not a kid. Hey, kid. Are you ready, kid? I know you're anxious, but stay on your toes. Yeah, likewise, mate. Mess up and I'm leaving you behind. Demi-Force did include the really exaggerated, accented versions from Chrono Cross. The Chrono Cross dialogue into this here, so for better or worse. Come on, Magil, that bastard Lynx is gonna get what he deserves. Say your prayers, nothing will do you any good. Alright, so that's just the intro. So yeah, Demi-Force based a lot of the dialogue, the translated dialogue, and stylized it in the way that Chrono Cross stylizes their dialogue. So, for better or worse, that's what we have in this here. Kid talks like some mangy, has this kind of pirate speak sort of thing. Sort of an Irish pirate speak accent to her. It's the same thing in Chrono Cross, unfortunately. That's the thing, is like almost every character in that game had like a specific speaking style that was done in their text, which was interesting but probably overdone. I know I'm not here to talk about Chrono Cross, but Le text speed, le so espieu. Don't worry, the game is in English, not French. I guess we'll just go with normal speed. I don't remember quite how long this game is, but I don't think it's that long. This is why I hope to do it all in one night. Boy, did her information help. I thought the perimeter's counterspell would be quite a problem. Kid's braid sways gently from side to side in the cool nighttime breeze. So far we managed to slip through the magical shield network undetected and sneak into Lynx's domain. Still, this inner region can make for some pretty rough travel. Kid, Magil, and I comprise this party of 3. It's been something like 3 years since Kid and I met. Back then, I was a drifter, wandering wherever my music led me. During my stay in a remote town of... I don't know whether it's Agiora or Regioria. It looks like an R. Regiora? We'll just go with Regiora. I ended up running into a girl who later joined me, leading to the beginning of all this. That girl was Kid. Kid is a thief, of course, and talks in pirate speak. Not even 17 years old already, she's widely renowned as a top professional. She really is a kid. To make matters worse, she's cute, devilishly cute, has a sparkling personality, and boy can she cook, if you ask her, that is. Well, to be completely honest, she has her share of problems as well. She likes to think of herself as a kind of Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. But that's just not the case. At times her sharp tongue can get the best of her, viciously lashing out at anyone who stands in her way. She exaggerates every other word, and sometimes lies outright. And as for listening to other people, well, forget it. When it comes to money, well, I've never met anyone greedier in my life. Her relentless pursuit of wealth is ironic considering she's a nomad like me. I don't know, maybe I'm being too hard on her. She has her good points too. She can really shine sometimes when she wants to. Glancing back over my shoulder, I notice a silhouette silently emerge from the grove. Magil. This associate of Kid's is known to us only as Magil of the Shadows. I know next to nothing about him, except for the fact that he somehow knew Kid before I came into the picture. A high-class magician of some sort. He looks to be about 30. He usually keeps to himself, though. The top half of his face is covered with a mask at all times. I've never even seen what he really looks like. At times it seems as though I'm hanging around someone from another world. Traveling with this pack is definitely an interesting experience. Kid's quiet about her past life, too. But it's like I know her entire life story compared to how little I know about Magil. From time to time, I find myself wondering who he is, where he came from, and so on. I'd ask Kid, but I get the impression she knows as little about him as I do. You might be wondering, how did I end up where I am now? Well, there's a lot of reasons, I suppose. I guess you could say that life doesn't always go how you plan. Suddenly, Kid comes to an abrupt stop. I do want to make like a little quick save, like right here. Now, believe it or not, there actually are random battles in this game for a visual novel. No, it's kind of weird, but you can end up losing in them if you don't like make the right decisions in a certain amount of time. And we don't want to have to go through all the dialogue again in case I do somehow mess something up. We don't want to be here all night. Just saying. Seems someone wants to say hello. Out of a nearby thicket. Two shimmering eyes catch my attention. Whatever it is, it's staring at me silently. After a few moments, a few more pairs of eyes appear. They seem to be surveying the area. Eyes. It's the kitty cats. A deep feline growl breaks the uncomfortable silence, and I realize we're being hunted by a pack of feral cats. A few of the figures slowly approach from behind the trees. I look behind me only to see that they've already encircled us. A few more slowly creep in, now totaling about 10. Chills run down my spine. In a daze, I clumsily unsheath my knife, grasping it tightly as I bite my lip. Kid stands ready with an air of composure. Hail from, mate. These buggers are probably rabid. The growling increases, now a constant rumble all around us. Their yellow eyes shimmer like jack-o'-lanterns while saliva drips from their snarling jaws. The middle one's stomach gurgles as its eyes widen, fixed directly on me. Looks like we ain't getting out of this one without a fight. What do we do? Attack. Yes, we have this is the same battle music from Chrono Cross. Actually, this is the battle music from Medical Dreamers I was used in Chrono Cross. I slash viciously at a nearby cat. Starro leaps back with incredible reflexes. I stay my ground, not getting any closer to the beast. Hearing a howl, I know I've hit my mark. Licking its wound, the animal recovers after a moment of pain. I ready my knife, waiting for my next chance to attack. Serge, behind you! Turn around to see if I'm now face to face with a pair of those ravenous yellow eyes. Defend. In desperation, I raise my arms in a cross, guarding my face. The beast catapults onto me, throwing me down and pinning me to the ground. I scream from the bottom of my lungs as I feel sharp jaws clamp down on my skin. He straddles my body, his teeth now sunken deeply into my arm, with blood staining his fur as it growls. The pain is unbearable. I do everything in my power to struggle and break free. The jaws are like an iron trap, gnawing and ripping flesh deeper and deeper with every passing second. Whoa, what was that? All of a sudden the cat is hurled off me, thrown backwards by some incredible force. It cowers in a heap away behind a tree, with a gaping hole in its belly. It roars helplessly. I look up to see Kid standing behind me, her knife dripping with blood. Squeezing the wound on my arm, I rise to my feet. I take a deep breath and try to tighten my grip on my knife, now slippery with sweat. Then out of nowhere, Kid flashes across my field of vision, landing a direct hit onto a cat beside me. The cat screeches in pain as Kid pins it to the ground, stomping and kicking it with all her rage. Without a moment's delay, she boots the animal up underneath its jaw. It moves no more. All of a sudden, the crazed atmosphere gives way to a war cry behind me. I look around to see Magil's inferno spell setting a cat's head ablaze. It jumps up screeching and howling in madness before running away wildly. In confusion, it runs directly into a tree and knocks itself out cold. Doink. And that's how all the battles in the game go. Like that. It's visual novel, but it's also kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure sort of thing, in a way. So, but it is possible to lose in the fights. I just want to point that out. So, I'm not sure if this Serge gets injured no matter what I do in that fight. I've been through it a couple times with different options, and Serge seems to always get injured somehow. So, whether I defend or attack, I don't think so. I don't even think Serge has magic, so I don't know why I have the magic option, but maybe I'll try that in the next fight, see what happens. I look around and see that only one of the pack hasn't been taken care of yet. As Kid and I start to close in on the beast, it bolts, fearing for its life. "Well, that was some workout, eh, mate?" says Kid, coming towards me as she tends to her arm. I take a deep breath as I look around, trying not to step on too many of the bodies. I'll admit I was a little worried back there at times, but nothing too serious happens. I try talking to Magil, despite knowing how he'll react. "Are you alright?" With an expressionless face, he looks down at me blankly. "You need not worry about me." Wow. The affection is just overflowing from that guy. However, I probably shouldn't start complaining now. We've still got a long way to go. We haven't even set foot inside Viper Manor yet. Kid glances over at me, seeming eager as ever, ready to tackle what's next. "You're gonna hang around all night or what, mate?" "No way, let's go. Let's move on." "Hey, come here." Trying to ignore my aches and pains, I head over towards Kid. "Good job back there, mate." She comes closer, I can see the reflection of the moon in her eyes, as she gives me a warm, comforting smile. "But come on, we can't just stand around all night. There's treasure waiting to be found." I'm still lost in her eyes as she starts to set off. "Aw, I'm starstruck." Magil continues behind her without a hitch. I hurry to catch up behind the two. In a place like this, getting separated would be a bad idea. We continue to make our way through this natural labyrinth of wood and rock. Somewhere, quietly waiting within this huge forest, a Viper Manor beckons us. Deep within lies the treasure we've come for. Lord Lynx, as he's formerly known, is an aristocrat who governs the... I'm always going to have trouble saying that. Regione. Sorry, it's really hard to pronounce right. Regiona outlines. From the way Kid talks, he's apparently an old adversary of hers. Tonight, our goal is Lord Lynx's most prized possession, a scarlet jewel known as the Frozen Flame. Besides being priceless, some say this beautiful stone harbors some sort of mystical power. They say many people have sought after the flame, but none have been victorious in stealing it. Viper Manor has claimed many lives, but we will succeed. We pride ourselves on making the impossible possible. Besides, the way Kid talks about Link sometimes, it sounds like she's got an awfully personal vendetta against him. We can't lose. We've come too far to lose. And so, after having spent countless hours crossing this dreary, lonesome forest, the silhouette of a towering mansion finally comes into view through the trees. We made it, Kid shouts. Your days are numbered, Lynx. We quickly make our move, quietly dashing out from behind a thicket. Once at the mansion wall, we creep stealthily along the perimeter, searching for an entry point. After a short while, we come upon a terrace near a garden which looks relatively inviting. It doesn't look like there are any guards on patrol. Still, the mansion gives off a strange, sort of morbid feeling. It's as quiet as death. Magil gazes up at the towering fortress. We can enter into the west wing from here. There's no need to look elsewhere. Okay, let's go, Kid says, jumping over the terrace handrail. Halt, shouts Magil from behind, staring at Kid. Our goal is the frozen flame, not vengeance on Lord Lynx. Remember this, Kid. Aye, no prob, she says, glancing over her shoulder. Ain't gonna be nothing to it, like taking candy from a baby. We'll be out of here before that slimy rat knows what hit him. Yeah, you low-down good-for-nothing bastard, I'll make you pay. There she goes again. Come on, getting a little tired of waiting around, she yells, before bolting into the mansion. Magil shakes his head in silence as I chase after Kid, already deep inside. The darkness engulfs me. Ooh. Would you really step into this place in the middle of the night, not knowing what the hell's in there? Alright, so here's where we start to choose what we want to do here. Passages extend to the left and right. Where we turn, darkness awaits. Let's go left here. Hold on, I'm going to clear my throat here before I continue. Yes, there's a lot of dialogue to start off with. There won't be quite so much from here on. Anyway, let's see what's got going here. As though we're inside a gigantic snake, the passageway twists and turns, stretching deeper and deeper into the mansion. I probably should have quick saved back at the choice. I didn't think to do that. We'll be okay. We now stand in almost complete and utter darkness. Just a trace of moonlight manages to illuminate the path. I stop for a moment and realize it's now completely silent. I feel as though we're being watched silently by every single being in this dreadful house. Taking a deep breath, I move on. And I set my foot down slyly, with the stealth of a cat, yet so valiantly composed. Kid follows behind in stride. Drifting in and out of the shadows, the macabre figure of Magil looks out from behind. The Weaver of Fate has surely by now taken notice of us, cradling us carefully in her arms. After a while, the path splits into 3 directions. To the left is a descending staircase, while the path on the right extends into darkness. Another passageway lies ahead. Alright, I will, Quick save right here. Let's see, do we want to go down? Proceed ahead, or turn down the right path, or head back towards Terrace? Let's go in the basement. As I start to slowly descend the stairs in the dim light, I stretch my hands out in front of me to try and feel for something. However, all I'm greeted with is the moist feeling of these grimy stone walls. We descended the staircase. To the left lies a huge stone archway, and to the right we can see a narrow path twisting into the darkness. Let's go through the archway. Peeping in from the arched entranceway, Kid looks astonished. Wow, look at this. I heard about these things. They're called atriums. A large fountain sits in the center of this beautiful room. Looking across the way, another archway similar to this one leads off into darkness. Whoa, cold, Kid exclaims, taking her hand out of the water. Coming to her side, I kneel down and peer into the pond. Leaning over the beautiful marble edge, I too feel the chilly water. From deep beneath the surface, a number of fish start to swim towards us. These buggers look expensive. I can't seem to see the bottom of the pond. I wonder how deep it is. The fish are a little restless, splashing here and there. Suddenly, Kid tugs at my arm, jerking my hand out of the water. Before I can ask why, one of the fish leaps out, snapping at me. We scramble to our feet and take a few steps back from the fountain. Many other fish soon follow, jumping out of the water, snapping at us. A few land outside the pond. Kick one of them into a corner. Watching it violently squirm around, it appears to be a piranha. More and more of them emerge from the apparently bottomless depth. Having gotten a fresh scent of game, the piranhas start to splash around more viciously now, getting water everywhere. I wonder how many of these things could be in there. It looks like there are more and more of them emerging every second. The room is going to be flooded with piranha in a few moments if we don't get out of here. Suddenly a dark red liquid starts to erupt in the fountain. Kid leaps back at once. I'm shocked as well, staring dumbfoundedly at the erupting fountain. The gushing red liquid shoots higher and higher. The water level in the pond rapidly rises, taking on a disgusting red hue. Before long, the water level has started to overflow onto the floor. A bead of sweat rolls down my brow as I realize that the room is about to fill with water. We might be able to make it to a safe distance before the piranhas reach us. Quick, what do we do? Head back to the staircase. Come on, we're outnumbered. Splashing through the water, we turn back, heading for the passageway from where we came. However, a few of them manage to sink their teeth into me before I can get away. I kick off the last remaining few as I bolt out of this vile room. Phew, what a close call. That rat bastard. Whatever trick he's got up his sleeve, it won't stop us for long. We're coming for you, Lynx. You and your stupid fish trap thing. While resting on a wall to tend to my wounds, I look up and notice something out of the ordinary. Hey, was this here before? Carved into the wall, a large marble sculpture of an intimidating face stares down at us coldly. It looks as though it's been sculpted by a fine artisan. It's very detailed. Its features are beautifully etched and barely eroded. It's a mouth of truth, Magil says. A what? A mouth of truth. The legend is that if you are given to lying, a mouth of truth will know it if you put your hands into its mouth. Oh, what a hard idea, Kid says, rolling her eyes. Let's see you do it, I say. Kid looks up worried. but seeing Magil looking at her, feels a resolve and tentatively puts her hands in the mouth. However, after a few seconds, nothing seems to be happening. Hey, what do you know? Guess I passed the test. That can't be all there is to it. Ah, I know. Kid, how many pounds do you weigh? 104. Kid suddenly takes in on the worried look, but before she can remove her hands, the marble set of teeth clamps down under her wrist. Hey, you stupid face, what's going on? The white marble teeth gnaw from side to side, becoming stained with red. Damn it, let me go! Magil calmly offers an explanation from behind us. Without saying something truthful to the best of one's ability, a mouth of truth will never let go. Not hearing him at all, Kid kicks the stone face in a fit of anger. Let me go, you stupid face! I swear I'm gonna knock your teeth in. Then, as swiftly as it closed, the mouth opens. That actually worked. I crouched down to Kid, who's kneeling on the floor, rubbing her wrist. Wow, I guess you weren't lying about knocking his teeth in. Of course not, mate. I showed him good. Bloody stone face. You didn't put anything inside the mouth, did you, Kid? Oh, you didn't put anything inside the mouth, did you, Kid? What are you talking about? No. You walk over beside Magil and peer into the mouth. There behind his teeth is a large pink tongue. I think there's some sort of indentation in it, but I can't be sure. It's really far back in there. Maybe it wants us to put something on his tongue. Maybe that's the real test. Kid begins taking out her things from in her pockets, under her shoes, and out of her hair. She gathers all sorts of personal effects. She stretches the pile of trinkets held in her hands out to me, smiling innocently. Guess it's my turn to face the test. As long as Kid's safe, I'm happy, I suppose. Wondering what the mouth of truth could possibly want, I reach for one of her accessories. What should I picture? A centipede. She had a centipede. A huge explosive. Raisins. I don't know why I will pick raisins. I take some of the kids' special raisins out of their cloth bag and place them inside the giant mouth. Munch, munch. It seems to be eating them. Hey, stop, you dumb rockhead. Those are emergency rations. Kid snatches the pouch back from me, looking at the single morsel I have left in my hand. I find myself wondering what these so-called emergency rations taste like. Tasty. Serge, now you're eating them too. I'm not gonna have any left for real emergencies, Kid says, staring at me angrily. Yeah, right, I say to myself. I'd never seen her offer any of them to me when I needed them. Okay, well, I guess we can just go down the list here. I take the small mirror into my hands and place it into the huge marble mouth. Well, no sign of tooth decay here. The mouth doesn't budge an inch. Whatever's supposed to happen isn't happening. Kid takes the mirror from me and fixes her hair a little. Oh man, she looks so cute when she does that. We should test others before we stop. Magil advises. File. Take the file and place it into the marmoreal mouth of truth. It doesn't seem to fit on the tongue, but then... Damn it. Drop down the back of its throat. What'd you have to go and do that for? Nail files don't grow on trees, Serge. Don't you know how important one of those things is to a lady? Whoa, so now I see her true colors. What was that for, I asked, reeling back from her slap. That's the last one of my things you'll be putting your hands on. Come on, kid. It won't happen again, I promise. Alright, I guess. Kid says, showing me the rest of her trinkets. I'm only doing this for the flame. She still has a file, though. I don't know why she has a centipede. A centipede? You were carrying around a centipede with you this entire time? Perhaps it's a pet. It's only a toy, silly. Oh, okay, but still. It's for scaring fools like you. And see, it worked. Boy, the things I'm learning about kid these days. Anyway, I take her rubber centipede and place it into the mouth of Truth's mouth. Damn it, it's too slippery. I accidentally drop it down his throat. Serge, why do you keep losing my stuff? I'm gonna keep dropping stuff down the back of this thing. It's gonna fill up with all this random junk. I can still reach it, I think. It didn't go down that far. I say, putting my whole arm inside. Goosebumps run up my body as I realize this thing could bite off my entire arm right now. Hold on. Come on, Serge, just a little more. Aha, I got it. I hope this thing is important to you. Yeah, losing it would be a drag, kid answers. I wipe the sweat off my brow, letting out a deep sigh. Well, it didn't seem to work either. What else do you have? We could be here all night at this rate. Yeah, let's put some lipstick on it. I take the lipstick and smear some of it on the mouth of Truth's marble lips. Hey, my lipstick! Kid explodes at the mere sight of me, of my wasting the lipstick. It's a shame. I thought I did a very good job of prettying the marble face up. That's not what it's used for. It's just strange for you to have something like this with you in the first place, kid. What, now you're saying it's weird for me to own cosmetics? Gulp. No. Not really. You better buy me a new one once we get out of here. Alright, I owe it to you, I answer apologetically. She'll be letting me forget about this one very easily, I can tell. Fishing line. I take the thin silk thread into my hand and hang it down into the huge marble mouth. That's a silk fishing line, taken from a royal silkworm. Be careful with it. I can feel it hook onto something as the thread gives a bit of a tug. Looking in, it appears to be some sort of paper. Alright, we're on to something for sure, Kid says, trying to look inside. Oh no, I lost the thread down his throat. I suddenly turn towards Kid, shrugging my shoulder with a red face. Serge is not very good at this. You idiot! Like an electric shock, she slaps me across the face. Terrified, I lunge back into the mouth, reaching as far as I can. I feel the thread after a moment or two. I carefully pull it back out, relieved. The object it has latched onto is nowhere in sight, however. Leaning against the wall, Magil somberly asks us, "What now?" We'll just keep going. We'll keep sticking Kid's things down the face. The explosive. I take a ball of gunpowder out of Kid's hand and place it within the Houston mouth. However, nothing happens. Do it, Serge, Kid says, putting some matches in my hand. I don't know about this. Do it. I don't know, really. Suddenly I hear the sound of a fuse burning. Kid's already lit the bomb. I quickly run for cover in a far corner. I'm gonna blow it up. As the smoke clears, I start to see the hideous remains of the cracked mouth of Truth. From beside me, I watch Kid dust herself off and walk over to the mutilated stone face with yet another bomb. Come on, Kid, we don't need to completely demolish it. Oh, it ain't dangerous, mate. It's just a little fire. Kid glances over at my face. I'm practically begging her to stop. Alright already, you never want to have any fun, Kid says, kicking some dirt around. Well, what next? The last thing is, the lever scroll. I take the worn lever scroll into my hands and examine it. Heh, what's this? Secret ninja training techniques? I asked sarcastically. Kid smiles lazily, rolling her eyes. I unfasten the tie and open up the scroll. Oh, wow. Strange symbols are written at length on the scroll. A lot has been written here. It appears this took some time to write. Judging by my face that this is something of importance, Kid walks back over and takes a look. Oh, it's an Imperial code chart primer. It's used for transmitting information through enemy lines. Really? I can't read any of it. You got to show us how to use this thing. What would I want to do that for? It would ruin the secrecy, she says, walking off alone. Maybe she can't read it either. Okay, well, what are we going to do about this big old hunk of rock? Kid asks hastily. Well, I guess we're done. We tried everything. Probably gotta find something else in the mansion. Bewildered, I tell Kid to put her stuff away. Something gives me the feeling that none of these things are what it wants. There has to be something in the mansion that fits. We probably just haven't found it yet. We've got to keep our eyes peeled. Back to the story. We come to a branch after a ways. To our right lies a staircase going up, while the start of a dark passageway is directly ahead. We're still in the basement. Let's head down the passageway. We proceed through the dark passageway. Before long, we're greeted with a beautiful, ornate set of doors on the right. Strange. There's a distinct smell of flowers coming from here. Well, let's see what's in there. We come to a comfortably decorated room. Small trinkets have been placed on the desk and shelves, adding some charm. The owner of this room has obviously gone to great lengths to try and bring a somewhat graceful lifestyle into this otherwise dark mansion. Still, the room seems to carry an unsettling stillness with it. Bet it links his daughter's room, Kid says, surveying some of the items. Does Lynx even have a daughter? I don't think he does. Not that I recall. Definitely not from Chrono Cross. The letter on the desk and the warm teacup hint of a woman living here. However, after searching the room, no one is found. All we find are various odds and ends, a beautifully arranged set of flowers, a white handkerchief carelessly tossed aside, a small bottle of perfume, and so on. Although this stuff adds atmosphere to the room, none of it is really worth anything to us. You can see everybody walking around in the mirror in the background there. Kid also seems to feel this way, disregarding most of the stuff in here. She picks up a small box decorated with a serpentine coat of arms. However, like the rest of the items in here, it looks like it's of little worth to us. What should I do now? Open the small box. As Kid slowly opens the box, a comforting melody fills the air. That song, Kid suddenly says, standing up beside me. I look over to her, seeing her expression has changed to vulnerable curiosity, chasing a long-lost memory. You know this song, Kid? Yeah. A long time ago, someone I knew used to sing it to me. She turns away from me, rubbing her eyes. Kid, I say softly, putting my hand on her shoulder. After a moment or two, she looks back at me, tears are running down her cheeks. Without saying a word, Kid walks quickly to the door. Hey, wait up, Kid, I say, chasing after her. We're not done here. I didn't look in the dresser yet. That brings us back to that atrium of piranhas. I guess we'll go right. All of a sudden, a chilly wind blows past me. Not only that, but also a thick fog has started to accumulate all around us. We're in trouble. It swirls around us faster and faster. After a few moments, it coagulates before me, forming into some sort of humanoid shape. It's a poltergeist. Don't move. Kid's whispering does nothing but add to my increasing feelings of fear and dread. I'm always supposed to fight something that doesn't even have a body. From beside me, a low voice starts to echo throughout the dim hallway. It's Magil. He seems to be starting some sort of incantation, but what am I going to do in the meantime? Hide behind Magus. I run and hide behind Magil, but it only seems to draw the poltergeist's attention. It blows a gust of wind in my direction, and suddenly I find myself hurling through the air, crashing into a nearby wall a moment later. I'm starting to feel lightheaded. Suddenly I feel incredibly tired. I open my eyes only to see that there's a chilly fog all around me. It must be starting to drain my life force. I have to stop it before it sucks me dry. I try to dissipate the fog by waving my arms around, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Getting so tired. It feels as though I'm sinking deeper and deeper into an icy tomb, and I continue to get sleepier and sleepier. Cold. A moment later, I feel the warm grip of Magil's hand seize the back of my neck. He begins to chant, and a soft blue light surrounds my field of vision. His words reverberate inside my head, and suddenly the fog dissipates. Like that. Serge. Hey, Serge, you still with us? I hear as I realize someone's slapping me again and again. Kid. Dazed, I stumble back to my feet. All this magic is making me dizzy. I had to counter the poltergeist attack directly through your body, Serge. Magil says. You will survive. Come on, what are we waiting around for? Kid stammers blankly. I really think I'm starting to get the hang of this whole fighting thing. I'm barely hurt at all. You got a thing or two to learn, but you're getting there, mate. Kid's mischievous eyes sparkle as I glance at her for a moment in the dim moonlight. In the basement of the mansion, somehow, there's moonlight. I set off down the corridor with her, ready for what's next. After a little while, the dark passageway ends at a polished, robust set of doors. Kid crinkles her nose in disgust. Something strange about this place. It don't feel right, mate. Probably just my imagination, though. Heh. Standing here in the cold darkness, Kid's hollow laugh does nothing but add to my fear. So, go in. These are apparently Lynx's quarters. No one seems to be here, however. I'm right on top of you now, Lynx. Say your prayers, you bastard. Looking around, it's a very dilapidated room. Furniture is thrown about in all directions, and almost nothing matches. Taking a look at the room as a whole, there's no sense of harmony whatsoever. It's very suggestive of a chaotic mind. Okay, looks like we gotta search through this mess. I sift through a number of odd items adorning the room. There's a cluttered desk, a painting that's hanging unevenly on the far wall, and a picture on a side table, among other things. In one corner of the room stands a tall, curious object of some sort. A scarlet cloth has been placed over it, covering it up. As I slowly reach my hand out to uncover it, Magil suddenly says, Please avoid reckless interference. Taking his advice, I return my hand to my side. However, the cloth suddenly starts to fall off on its own. I didn't touch it, I swear. What, did it just leap off by itself? Kid asked, rolling her eyes. A large mirror has been uncovered. Fancifully decorated. It looks to be a high-priced arabesque antique. I got a bad feeling about this. Then all of a sudden... Ooh. The reflection of the Venus statue opens its eyes, staring at us through the mirror. Is there something you seek? The statue's reflection asked in a soft, womanly voice. The voice seems to be coming from the statue in front of me, but only the mirror's reflection seems to be moving. It can talk. It is a mirror of whispers, Magil says, examining it closely. What is it, though? It is a looking glass that harbors a living spirit. The spirit is free to roam throughout nearby mirrors, able to see into our everyday lives. They are known to be quite wise. Is there anything you wish to ask? So it's like Google. Wow. What in place are you asking about me for? Kid shouts with a red face. Very well, the statue's reflection says. Ignoring Kid, who's slapping and pulling at me, I focus on the mirror. The reflection of the statue begins to ripple a little. Gradually, the mirror fades into darkness. Before long, the jet black surface of the mirror is filled with what looks like regiona. One by one, shadows of trees, houses, and people materialize. The mirror focuses in on a young woman, surrounded by small children. The children are dirty and poorly dressed, but they're all smiling and playing happily nonetheless. Then abruptly, the building they're in bursts into flames. Armed troops are all around. Everyone scrambles for a way out, but against her will, the young woman is abducted. The children, however, meet a much darker fate. Time passes. After the fire has burnt the building to the ground, the mirror shifts focus to a small girl covered in soot, crying behind the charred remains of her home. She lets loose a blood-curdling scream into the open sky as her right eye narrows like a cat's. Stop! Kid shouts. I look back to the mirror, but the image has already started to fade. Squeezing her hand into a fist, Kid slumps downward. The room is silent. Kid, I'm sorry. Let's go, Kid says abruptly, heading towards the door. Wait for me, Kid. I want to ask another question in the mirror. I want to know about Magil. Dang it. Heading back as we travel through the passageway, eager to shake this feeling of dread. After walking ways, we come to a beautifully decorated set of doors on the left. This is Riddell's room. Maybe we can continue to investigate Riddell's room. Yeah. This is the same dialogue as before. A breeze is coming in through a slightly opened window, refreshes me a little. Oh. And a leaf comes in through the mirror. Wait, that window wasn't open before. Someone was just in here, it seems. Let's come back another time. We don't need to get caught snooping around. For the time being, we'll leave Riddell's room. I do think Riddell If I recall correctly, I do think Riddell actually shows up in Chrono Cross. Because the name sounds familiar. It's been like a really long time since I played Chrono Cross. Just saying, so I don't quite remember everything. I wonder if we can go back and talk to the mirror again. Let's try to... I want to ask about Magil this time. Oh man, I can feel kids' blood boiling from here. I don't care, I'm going back in the room again. I want to talk to the mirror again. No matter how many times I return here, this room still doesn't seem any more appealing to me. The only redeeming point is that mirror of whispers in the corner. Always good for a little chat. Walk up to it and remove the crimson cloth. Hello again, mirror. Is there anything you wish to know? The mirror politely asked. Well, there's lots of things I could ask, I say hesitantly. Where is the frozen flame? For one, I could ask you that. Very well, I will answer one question. We're not going to go for a trick question here. In that case, I'd like to know about your past. That's not the question I'm going to ask. Come on. After a moment's silence, the statue's reflection starts to speak in a very humble tone. You have interest in my past. Yeah, when blazes are you? Kid interrupts. Well, it's probably been 300 years already since I was crafted in the realm of the looking glass. The statue's soft voice explains. The realm of the looking glass. It's the flip side of this world. A world which harbors the objective contents of thoughts. Oh, it's the flip side of this world. A world which harbors the objective contents of thoughts, Magil quickly answers. Passing through the hands of many owners, I traveled far and wide throughout many lands. So how did you end up here? Kid asked. I came here with a kindred spirit, but now I am alone. Furthermore, now that I am without others of my own kind, I have begun to fade. I am so lonely. Tears trickle down the statue's face as it begins to weep quietly. If we come across any other mirrors like you, we'd surely come back and tell you, I say, trying to comfort it. Thank you so much. Your kindness shines truly. The Venus statue bows its head deeply, and with that, the reflection returns to its normal appearance. Indeed, we have yet to explore much of this mansion, Magil says, heading for the door. Okay. I guess you probably should try and head back upstairs. I don't think there's anything else we can do down here. I'll keep on going. Taking out through the pathway, come to a branch. We see an upward staircase on the left, as well as the archway. I follow Kid up the narrow set of stairs, hoping not to lose my balance. We've ascended the staircase. In front of us, paths extend in three directions. To the left lies a dark corridor, and to the right path heads out to the terrace. The path also continues on ahead. Let's take the left path. We continue through the passageway. After a while, we arrive at a beautifully decorated set of double doors. Let's go in. This seems to be Viper Manor's ballroom. Beautiful decorative ornaments rest on a large table in the center of this huge hall. Rows of huge pillars are lined up on both sides, adorned with sculptures of birds and various other animals. At the far end of the room sits a gigantic organ, taking up the entirety of the wall. Excuse me. Its pitch-black aura beckons us. A countless number of candles provide a soft, flickering luminescence to the room. Everything around us shimmers in the dim candlelight. Various portraits have been hung high on the walls, depicting all sorts of well-dressed people. From what I can gather, they're high-quality oil paintings. They all have a similar sort of morbid gaze in their eyes. Though, who could these be? Lynx's relatives, maybe? Of these, a portrait of a young lady in a pink dress catches my eye. Wait, what was that? I swear she looked at me just then. Come on, Serge. Time to put away the ghost stories. It's just my imagination acting up again, I tell myself. It was probably a trick of the light, caused by a flickering candle or something. The oil's glossy finish distorted the image for a second or two. Yeah, that's what happened. But I don't know. This room's bloody strange. Kid sees it too. She has to have seen it. I suggest we look elsewhere, Magil says suddenly. Kid and I offer no objections. Okay, so we just leave. We leave the ballroom, heading back through the passageway. After a bit of walking, we come to the three-way split. I guess we'll go back towards the terrace. Retrace our steps now. Proceed towards terrace. After continuing on through the passage for a while, the terrace comes into view on the right. I take a deep breath of the fresh evening air, hoping to calm my senses. Let's go out onto the terrace for a moment. We walk quietly out onto the terrace, instantly welcomed by a cold, nighttime breeze. The dreary forest we came through lies directly ahead. A light chill is sent down my spine as I watch the treetops rustle in the howling wind. Try talking to Magil. Well, nice moon tonight, huh? I say, not knowing in the least what a guy like Magil would ever want to talk about with anybody ever. A faint smile emerges beneath the shadow of his mask. Looking up at the tall, looming figure of Magil, the weight of my situation strikes home once again. Here I am, standing here with a powerful mage on the doorstep of a deadly mansion, trying to steal a priceless jewel, all while sneaking around, avoiding a maniacal tyrant. Well, hey, it's been a wild night so far. I wish all my life could be this interesting. Do not confuse fun with recklessness, Serge. It may be nothing more than luck that has allowed us to avoid death so far. Come on, we don't have time to loaf around. Let's get back to work, here, kids say. Talk with a kid. We gotta get that bastard. He's in here somewhere, I'm sure of it. Before long, we'll be right on top of you, Lynx. I can see the fire in her eyes from here. Man, she's cute when she's angry. Okay. Come on. What'd you drag me all the way out here for? We should head back inside. The sun will be up soon. We should head back inside. The sun will be up soon. I thought it was the evening. Yeah, really, come on, mate. Time to go. Stop lollygagging. Alright. Let's go back in. Gonna do another save here. Provided the game doesn't respond. There we go. Alright, so we went left before, so let's go right. We make our way down the dim-lit passageway. After a few moments, we come to an old, dusty door on the right. Kid quietly presses her ear against the door. Quiet as a church mouse. No one's there, mate. Let's go in. What's with all this junk? Must be a storeroom or something. It seems like this is the inner mechanics of a clock tower. However, the gears look old and rusted, and cogs are spinning randomly without connecting up with their proper teeth. I doubt the clock's still in use today. The room seems to be currently used as a storage area. A large object catches my attention off in the far corner of the room. It's too dark over there to see what it is, though. Do not touch anything out of the ordinary, Magil says abruptly, sending a sudden shock down my spine. However, just as he says this, I see Kid emerge from the shadows, dragging a large object out into the middle of the room. It's a large antique sword of some kind. You've got no use for that old thing, Kid. All it will do is slow us down. Besides, we probably wouldn't even get much money for it. I reckon it's worth a lot to the right buyer. Like an antique collector or somebody. Sulking, Kid quietly lays the sword down. What do you want? I look around startled. That was definitely not any of our voices. Kid and Magil immediately take position, focusing their attention towards the source of the voice. Who's there? A figure suddenly appears out of the darkness. It seems to be a short old woman with a large hood over her head. Although... excuse me. Although fully covered, it's obvious she's quite old. Aw, it's just some old hag, Kid says. Magil's sharp gaze on the woman remains unchanged, however. Heh. What an... well, I don't know who's speaking right there. What an energetic young lady. You haven't come here this late in the evening to drop in on some friends, I'd imagine. I glance at Kid. Perhaps you have some scores to settle with Master Lynx. My heart jumps. This is definitely not good. Will she warn the rest of them about us? Yeah, I'll tell the truth. Kid's eyes narrow. If we did have a score to settle with that bastard, what's it to you? Heh. Just as I expected. The old woman cackles in amusement. Children, they're always so interesting like that. So imaginative yet so predictable. Eh? What are you talking about, old lady? Oh, it's already been 4 or 5 years, I would gather. According to what I was told, one night a young thief came to the manor looking for trouble. The thief was a little girl about 10 years old. Surprised, I glance at Kid. There's a trace of an ice-like radiance in her eyes. Staring at her makes me feel like it suddenly dropped below freezing in here. Unfazed, the old woman continues her story. The girl was an orphan. She set off to face Master Lynx all alone, hoping to avenge the girl who had cared for her like a big sister. But after all, she was alone, outnumbered, and overpowered. She was eventually defeated and captured by Master Lynx's henchmen. As an ally, Master Lynx can be quite an asset. However, as an enemy, he can be one of the most fearsome men alive. If not for her friends who sneaked in and secretly rescued her, she surely would have perished. From what I've heard, this mysterious figure, who could allegedly slip in and out of the shadows, was the subject of many whispers throughout the manor, long after this incident had come to pass. Not moving a muscle, I try to look for Magil. He's nowhere to be seen. I can only guess he's sporting one of those trademark expressionless faces somewhere off in the darkness. The inhabitants of Viper Manor don't condemn the unfortunate, because no one can win all the time. However, from time to time, the goddess of fate has been known to cast down those who have too much good luck, throwing the cogs of time out of order. It's not wise to try and stand against fate, continuing to repeat one's mistakes time and time again. The old woman continues, staring straight at Kid, smiling sweetly. If you want to steal a jewel, and if you really want to beat him, you too must give up your most valued possession, Kid. As long as you cling to it, the hands of your clock will never budge. They'll stay frozen, trapped in the distant past. Who the bloody hell is this old hag? Me? Oh, just an old lady. Pay me no mind. Thank you for listening to this old maid for such a long time. I certainly hope I haven't delayed you at all. But before you leave, which one of you... With that, the old woman looks in my direction. Ah, yes. You look like you've got a bit of a scrape there. Won't you let me have a look at it? What should I do? I don't know whether to be petrified or comforted by this. Yes, because I already know she heals you. The old woman clasps her hands together. Bowing her head, she mumbles a few words in a low tone. Suddenly, a gentle pale blue light surrounds my body, filling me with a strange warmth. Wow, look at that. My wounds are being healed before my eyes, as though there's some sort of soft music being played all around me, putting me into a strange serenity. When I come around, the woman is gone. Hello? Lady? Says Kid, relentlessly looking around. However, there is no trace of her. All signs of her presence are gone. Wonder what was up with that old hag. Looking around, I can't help but wonder what she was talking about. With all that talk about a prized possession and everything. Let's get our arses out of here. This place is giving me the creeps, says Kid all of a sudden, already heading for the door. Hey, wait up. You can't just decide that unilaterally. As I catch up with Kid, she gives me a friendly poke in the ribs. Ain't no fair for you to be the only one who got healed. Because I'm the one who talked to the lady. From here, the passageway stretches to the right and left. The right path continues on into the mansion, while heading to the left will take us to the terrace. It will continue into the mansion. Proceeding ahead on the path, we come to a staircase going up and a firm-looking set of doors on the left. There better be treasure here. The smell of gold's thick in the air, mate. Well, let's take a look. Just like I thought. Locked, Kid says after jiggling the handle. Frustrated, she kicks the door. This might slow us down, but sure as bloody hell won't keep us out. Well, unless we find the key, there's nothing we can do, Kid. Let's get to it. I bet Lynx has got stashed up in his room somewhere, the bastard. Unable to do anything, we'll leave to look elsewhere. Let's go up the stairs. With Kid in the lead, we ascend the narrow staircase. The cracked stone stairs seem to endlessly twist upwards. It feels like we're heading up to a scaffold to be executed. So dark! Atop the staircase, an old but solid door waits for us silently. A damp place fills me with a feeling of dread. There's a faint voice coming from the other side of the door, says Kid. I fear the worst. Maybe we should check somewhere else, I say. What's the matter, you chicken? She says with a glancing at me. Chicken, that's just an old dated term now. I can tell by the sound of her voice that she isn't feeling much better about this than I am. There's something wrong about this place, and we all know it. Yeah, let's open the door. It's a small room. One you'd find in a stone tower. It's empty, and I can't find a single window in it. What the hell kind of room is this? Although she's trying to hide it, I notice a shiver running down Kit's spine. There may be something of use here. Let us search more closely, Magil says quietly. You really think we'll find something? Humph. Kit proceeds to the middle of the room while I examine the walls and floor. The stone floor is filled with countless scratches covered by splotches of a dry, dark ink. Hey Magil, would you come over here please? Something is carved into the wall here. I think it's an inscription of some sort. Magil kneels down in front of the wall and examines the writing. Looking closer at it, it appears to be written in blood. Indeed, this text has been worn down with age. Most of it is unreadable. Here's what I can make out. Won't longer. Skisia dragoons ni he itcha sword. Order to proof. Without any warning, the door slams shut. We stand up, taken by surprise. Then suddenly a low rumbling starts to fill the room. What's happening? Kid shouts, looking around frantically. What's that above us? It is a death trap room. What now? There's no time to lose. Try to ram the door. Kid flies like an arrow, ramming against the door. Small body bounces back. The door is far too heavy. Bollocks! Magil streaks across the room like a hurricane, dashing against the solid oak. The door creaks but holds tight. My turn. I ram into the door with all my strength. Arr! A heavy shock shoots through my body, but the door doesn't budge an inch. The rumbling continues to get louder and louder, inviting us at a rusty blade, eager to greet us. Serge, Magil, come on, together! The three of us start to ram against the door simultaneously with all our strength. The door hinge gives. We stumble outside, barely escaping certain death. Behind us, we hear the gut-wrenching sound of the blades meeting the stone floor. I watched a morbid scene in a daze, gasping huge breaths of air. Finally, the grinding sound fades away. It seems the ceiling has stopped. Damn that Link's toying with us like that. So, this is the torture chamber, or more like the death chamber. I wonder how many of the Acacia dragoons it is claimed. Magil whispers. Who, I ask? The Acacia dragoons. They were once an elite force serving General Viper, a powerful man who used to rule the western territory of Gersbunel. They were defeated more than 10 years ago by the very hands of Lord Lynx. By the looks of things, we have apparently found their resting place. Yeah, who cares, says Kid as she stands up. Generals and knights and everything. Sounds like some old bedtime story. Magil shrugs his shoulders in silence as we start down the stairs, eager to get away from this awful place. So I guess at this point I need to start backtracking a little bit. I think the game implied we need to go back to Lynx's room. So let me go back there. That'll also give me a chance to rest my voice for a bit. Alright. Now, while the dialogue is kind of reminiscent of Chrono Trigger, I do feel like the atmosphere of the game is very dark, to put it simply. Through the hall. Whoops! Wow! Jump scare. A little bit of a jump scare there. Suddenly, a blood-curdling screech cuts through the darkness. Scared off at that deafened sound, I look up to see two gigantic, maddening red eyeballs staring straight at me. It's a griffon. Before I can even unsheath my knife, it starts to flap its wings viciously, conjuring a tremendous gust of wind. I'm knocked clear off my feet, banging my head up against the wall. Serge, you okay? My body aches from head to toe. I struggle to ignore the pain as I hastily get back up. I bend down to grab my knife. As I stand back up with it in my hand, I suddenly realize the griffin has already cornered me off. It stands no less than a few feet in front of me, its enraged red eyes glowing like ember. What am I going to do now? It hit the deck. The griffin's wings flare up, coming at me for a swatting attack. When I go up low, I see its wings graze the air just inches above my head. That was such a close call. I quickly get up and ready myself what's next. Trying to break free of that ferocious visceral gaze, I remember a knife I'm holding and grip it tight. Attack. Quickly switching my knife to a backhand grip, I swing at the griffin's neck with all my rage. The griffin revs in pain as blood starts trickling down its neck. Alright, a weak spot. Twitching in pain, the griffin tries to get up. Kid steps over to it with my knife in hand, ready to finish the job. Serge, move! Serge, move! Magil's thundering voice booms from behind. Not knowing what to expect, I immediately hit the deck. Suddenly from above, a blazing streak of red shoots through the air, straight into the heart of the griffin. Its body bursts into flames. It rises up on its hind legs, screeching in pain. Engulfed in fire, the griffin crashes onto the floor with a huge thud. I really think I'm starting to get the hang of this whole fighting thing. I barely hurt at all. You got a thing or two. You're getting good there, mate. You picked some good choices there. Okay, let's go downstairs. Yeah, so we gotta go all the way back to Lynx's place, I assume. Suddenly, Kid comes to a stop. Something ain't right. Hearing this, I immediately unsheath my knife. I try to look ahead and behind, but all I can see is darkness. Wait, what was that? Up ahead looked like part of the wall moved. Yeah, right there. One of the square tiles is moving right in front of my eyes. Wait a second, that's not a tile at all. It's armor. Hey, over there, Mr. Goblin, Kid shouts. Come on, Kid, it looks awfully big. This goblin looks like one of those, oh, I forget I don't know what they're called, like the green pigmen from Star Wars. I don't remember what they're called, but it looks like that. Having been discovered, the massive goblin squares off with us, coming out in the full view. Uh-oh. It's got friends. Two sets of footsteps behind me make me realize they amount to 4 in all. I keep my focus on the 2 in front of me, while Magil turns to face the rear. How could things so large camouflage themselves so well? Readying my knife, I set my sight on the goblins before me. They're certainly gods in a pinch. They've already blocked off all the escape routes on this tight corridor. We have to find our way out of this one. Magil begins to confront the rear pack while Kid rushes the front two, knife in hand. I rush out with her, hurling myself into action. One of the goblins whips its morning star out, swinging a spiked iron ball down at me. Whoa, I nearly miss it. leaping to the side at the last possible second. It comes crashing down, shattering the stone floor under it into a cloud of dust. Beside me, Kid leaps nimbly into the air, dodging a close attack. The scene here has been reduced to a barrage of weapons and chains flying through the air, thick with the dusty haze of shattered stone flooring. Looking over towards Kid, a glimmer of light flashes before me, and there in front of us a knife has suddenly been implanted deep into a goblin's left eye. Writhing in pain, the goblin hits the ground. I try not to look at it, keeping myself focused on the fight. There's no doubt. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, are words she lives by, here in the thick of combat. If had a single problem handling herself, Kid's truly a natural. Another one of the goblins draws near soon after, already wildly swinging its morning star above its head. Do what Kid would do. That's right, if Kid can do it, so can I. On the verge of its attack, I confront the goblin with my knife ready. It hurls its morning star down at me. I leap to the side, thinking to myself, it's now or never. Damn it, just as I go to make my move, I slip and fall flat on my back. I see the goblin standing over me, laughing to itself as it raises its morning star overhead. I gotta do something fast. Thinking a mile a minute, I somehow remember my knife and ram it into the goblin's shin. Finish it off. But the goblin tends to his painful wounded ankle. I seize the opportunity and leap up with my knife. I planted the knife deep within the thing's chest. Thick blood pours out in spurts, where at the same time I feel a tremendous thud on the top of my head. Delirious, I stumble to the ground, barely able to notice the goblin before me collapsing as well. Suddenly I see stars flash all around me, and then again, and again. Serge, wake up. Come on, this ain't no time for daydreaming, Kid says, slapping me on the cheeks. Alright. Quit slapping me. What? You ought to be grateful for getting an awakening by a fair maiden like me. Fair maiden, please. Phew. You okay, mate? Yeah, I'm not bad. I've got some bruises here and there, but nothing too serious. You? Oh, are you kidding? I kicked that thing's arse so bad I didn't even have time to say its prayers. Yeah, we did pretty good back there, didn't we? You got a thing or two to learn, but you're getting there, mate. Again, like I say, every time we get into these fights. Alright, now we're finally back at Lynx's quarters. Let's go back in. This is quarters. I sure hope that key's in here somewhere. Bet that mirror could tell us, Kid says, moving that large silk cloth. A dark mirror looms before us like a still lake on a moonless evening. Is there something you wish to know? The Venus statues ask. Ask about Kid's measurements. Yes, I want to know what size Kid is. You know, for a 17-year-old. Let's ask for the key. If you know where the key to the treasure vault is, could you please tell us? The mirror surface begins to ripple. The whirling smoke soon takes shape into the picture of a large room, decorated with rows and rows of books. In a beautiful womanly voice, the mirror responds. The key you seek, as you see before you, rests within this room, towards the rear of the great sanctuary of knowledge. Within a large purple book, you will find the item you so desire. The image slowly fades and returns to a normal reflection. The spirit has apparently moved to another mirror, Magil says. Okay, let's head for the study. As I head for the door, I suddenly get the faint feeling of being watched. I come to a stop and look around. Then suddenly a faint whisper reaches my ears. Be careful. They know. Whose voice was that? It wasn't any of ours. The mirror. It wouldn't double-cross us, would it? Kid heads out the door, bolting down the corridor. I frantically chase after her, easily as eager as she is. I didn't come across the study yet, I don't think so. Let me take a look in the archway area. Are you serious? There's no way in hell I'm going back in there to be eaten alive. Yeah, losing a leg or two wouldn't do a thing for your girlish figure. Having stopped before the atrium, once again come to yawn the smell for truth. Oh, this thing again. Maybe there's something we didn't try before. Oh, this thing again. Me again. Kid smiles at me instantly, missed my hesitation, and reached for one of her accessories again. Well, we're not going to do any of this again, so... yeah, let's move on. Bewildered, I tell Kid to put her stuff away. Something is meaning on this one. So be blah blah blah. Okay. I guess we'll go back up. And there's the ballroom, and I'm not sure where the study is. Hold on. Yeah, this is the point where I actually start getting a little lost in this game. Oh, there actually is a map. It is next to the... oh. Okay, so... heading towards the terrace. Proceed through the dark passageway. Look for the passageway. We head down the path. After a while, it ends at a stained wood door. Okay, this is it. There actually is a map for this thing. I just looked at it and realized, okay, I didn't go into it, did I? Come on. Guess this is the study. This huge room is faintly lit by moonlight, shining in through a tall window. In the back of the room stands a large, ornately decorated desk. Row after row of bookshelves house thousands of thick, dusty books. A painting is hung on the rear wall, sharing space with various exotic curios. Okay, time to find that key, Kid says as she steps into the center of the room, surrounded by row after row of books. Where did that crazy mirror say we could find it? Hey, Serge, pay attention when I'm talking to you. Huh? I thought you remembered which one it was. So which is it? I think it was a purple book in the back? I'm pretty sure it's that purple book over there, I think. Which one? Oh, I see it. Kid pulls out a purple book towards the bottom of the shelves. I watch closely as she opens it up. Flipping through the pages, suddenly an old brass key falls out at the book, hitting the ground with a clank. Alright, the key. Throwing the book aside, Kid bends down, and grabs the key. Her eyes light up as she stares at it in her hands. We race out of the study, eager to see what awaits us in the vault. Magil follows behind a moment later, after returning the book to the shelf. We leave the study, retracing our steps through the dark passageway. Finally, the passage comes to a three-way branch. There's a staircase, and there's two passageways to the right and left. One left takes us back towards terrace, okay. Suddenly, Kid stops dead in her tracks. I look to her, wondering what's wrong. Magil already has assumed his battle stance. I do so too, trying to see what's ahead of us. Suddenly, I realize what they were triggered by. A barely audible voice of some kind can be heard. Far up ahead. Advancing a bit more, we come to the source. There, barely illuminated in the dim light, is some sort of a thin, blue monster. It seems like it's been waiting for us, kneeling on the pavement as it chants to itself in a low, quiet tone. Its long, bony fingers seem to be etching something on the floor before it. It's a demon warlock. I unsheath my knife, getting ready to face off the vile monster. Attack. I switch my knife around for a backhand attack as the demon grins a disgusting smile at me. The second I see it breaks its focus, I lash out with my weapon. However, my dead-on attack only seems to graze the demon's skin. What are you smiling at, freak? Kid yells as it gives a twisted, fang-laden smile. I clean the sweat off my brow and try to keep focused. However, I can't help but notice the demon's eyes amidst all this. They've got such an unsettling quality to them, almost as though this thing harbors some sort of unimaginable intelligence. Wait, what am I saying? I can't get lost in that thing's mind now. Everybody knows these things can trap your spirit with their eyes alone. All of a sudden, the demon starts to mutter something. A second later, it bursts into flames. Within a few moments, the flame dies out, and the demon is no more, gone without a trace. What the? A vague uneasiness sets in as I look around. Not a single scrap of evidence remains from that entire encounter. Was any of that even real? Was it all in my mind? Phew, you okay, mate? Yeah, I'm not bad. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, not again, come on. Before me, Kid comes to an abrupt stop. My knife's ready, but all I can see is darkness. Then from up ahead, I start to hear a clattering noise. Whatever it is, it's coming closer and closer. Goblins. It's the sound of iron armor clanking against the stone floor, I'm sure of it. Dang it, they're in the way. I'm gonna save. Maybe we should run this time. Let's try running. Oh, quit being such a fraidy cat. They already know we're here, mate. We're stabbing at me like a rusty nail. Come on, let's get him, she yells, insanely bolting down the passageway. Way to be stealthy. Let me get my knife ready. The goblins amount to 5 in all. They seem more intelligent from the usual fare, probably due to some awful form of education in human torture and suffering. Each of them as tall as Magil, but at least twice as thick. Each of them is equipped with my morning star as well as a mace at the side. These chain-bound spiked metal balls look deadly enough from here. I hope they aren't as skillful with those things as I think they are. Laughing heartily at us, the one in front starts to swing its morning star over its head, taking a step towards me. What do I do now? Jump back. Now, a single moment after I leap back, the iron ball smashes into the stone floor. I can't rely on this little knight to parry those huge morning stars. There's no way I'll survive fighting like that. Seizing the opportunity to score a hit against unprotected flesh, I slash at the goblin's extended hand before it has a chance to recoil its weapon. I tear open a huge gash, revealing muscles and tendons. Recoiling its violently bleeding hand in a shock of hysteria, let's go, the morning star. Just stab it. The knife has disappeared from the goblin's chest. The goblin looks down, but then looks back up towards me a moment later, infuriated. He picks me up with both hands, sending me flying through the air. I crash into a wall, but try to instantly pick myself up. My adrenaline acting on reflex due to the weight of my situation. Blood is rushing out of the goblin's gaping wound. It's in a lot of pain, but these things just never seem to die. Fear starts to run through my body as the hideous bleeding thing starts to take a step towards me. I've got no weapon left, and I'm no match for this thing, toe-to-toe. But then it stumbles, and then again, its whole body starts to tremble before falling to the floor moments later. Looking around at the victory before me, I let out a sigh of relief. So you got one, eh, mate? That showed him. I want to say something back, but I'm so tired I just stand there ready for anything. There's still 4 more. Kneeling down, I rest for a minute to tend to my wounds. Hey, no whining, you're not that bad, mate. I've seen worse hangovers than how you look right now. I wish I had her determination. After I finish applying my bandages, I get up hoping I'll be okay. I can't start to give up now, but boy, these cuts are really starting to hurt. There is kind of like a hidden damage counter in this game, and they don't really explain it too well. But I mean, eventually you will take enough damage that you will just pass out and it'll be game over. Alright, we can go in here now. It better open now, says Kid, putting the key we found into the lock. As the lock clicks, we're suddenly showered in all colors of light. It must have been an enchanted lock. Whatever's on the other side of the door has got to be good. The heavy doors open slowly. Inside the room, I gasp at the awesome spectacle laid out before our eyes. Despite the sparse light, a brimming mountain of silver, gold, and other precious-looking artifacts shimmer and twinkle throughout this huge treasure vault. Kid is almost drooling at the sight. But to be fair, a sight like this would captivate most people. Enormous heaps of riches are piled before our eyes, in amounts most people will probably never see in their entire lives. It looks to be authentic. Remember, our goal is the flame. Do not waste time with frivolities, says Magil flatly. Geez, I told you I know. Regardless of Magil's warning, Kid can't help but be taken aback. She gawks at the room's contents in awe until... Hey, what's that in the back, on that pedestal? There, a palm-sized jewel radiates a pale crimson light. resting patiently behind the other treasures. It looks as though it's a roaring flame that's somehow been frozen in time. The frozen flame! As Magil glides over towards the pedestal, I nervously call out. Be careful, can't afford falling into a trap. Fine, Kid frustratingly says, glancing back at the door. Just remember, we're short on time. After investigating the pedestal for a little while, Serge was correct. It does seem to be trapped. Magil steps back, mumbling something in a low voice while placing his hand near the base of the pedestal. Slowly, an inscription begins to emerge on its surface, shining brightly for a moment. It should be disarmed now, he says, before cautiously lifting the scarlet jewel from the pedestal. Serge's party got the frozen flame. Yay, the game is complete. We're done. Phew, we did it. With a sigh of relief, I turn towards Magil. He's looking intently at the flame. Way to go, Magil. Alright, let's... Suddenly the gem shatters into 1,000 pieces in Magil's hands. It's a fake. Indeed, that fiend Lynx would never have left the real flame in a place like this. Damn. Suddenly an alarm bell rings out. The room lights up and heavy metal bars fall in front of the door. Our only exit is blocked. I look around only to see Kid holding a fancy crown, suddenly realizing what she's done. Serge's party got the golden crown. That dim-witted dingo, I say to myself. Suddenly out of corners of the room, 4 mechanical birds suddenly come to life. Intruder alert! Intruder alert! Their loud metallic screechingly adds to my uneasiness. It doesn't look like it'll open, says Magil, checking the iron bars in front of the door. But before Magil can even finish his sentence, we start to hear deep, snarling voices, somewhere outside the room. Which way is it coming from? A heavy voice asks. Sounds like the treasure vault, or what false alarm to me. The voice continues to get louder and louder as we stand motionless inside the room. We silently gawk at each other, hoping any one of us will have some sort of plan. Kid hides herself under a mountain of gold coins. Quick, hide, mate! I frantically look around the room. There, over in the far corner, there's an empty treasure chest behind a post. Dash over towards it, climb in, and close the lid. Magil just turns invisible. Looks like there's no one here, boss. That's strange. No one's ever been able to escape this old thing. Softly opening the lid of the chest, I take a peek outside through the small crack and see the goblins, bedecked in armor, having unlocked the iron bars and standing just a few feet from me. I look around the room restlessly, peeking into the shadows. Eventually, one of them raises his head to speak. Maybe a rat set it off. The cook was complaining about rats just the other day. Rats? Are you trying to tell me a rat set off the trap? A fat goblin questioned the other with a doubtful face. And with that, squeak, squeak, squeak comes from the corner over by where Kid's hiding. Taken aback, the goblins stop moving and look at each other. After a little while, the chief slowly strokes his chin and says, No, actually, wasn't it stray cats that the cook was complaining about? Meow, meow, comes this voice a second time. Again, the goblins glance at each other. That's strange. What I heard was that it was a vicious heckran that raided the pantry, I think. Not a peep this time. I can only picture a kid racking her brain, trying to think of what a heckran looks like. And all I recall is kind of a big blue monster creature. Just as I thought. A thief, says one of the guards. But just as they start to approach... Hickey, 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 rang, rang, rang. Oh well, then it certainly is a heck grant. Without a doubt, one of them says, exchanging a smile with the others. Well, that's pretty frightening then. Come on, let's get out of here. The pack begins to file out of the treasure vault. But then suddenly the goblins all spring on the pile of gold. Well, what do we have here? Hey, get your hands off me, you slimy freaks, Kid says, struggling to break free. Slimy, a thief like yourself isn't in much of a position to criticize, one of them hollers at her. Taking herself free of their grasp, Kid inches back into the corner of the room. The goblins start to corner her off, laughing to themselves. I quietly sneak out of my hiding place and unsheath my knife. Taking on an entire troop of armed goblins is a lost cause even for Kid. What should I do? Frankly, I'm in a quandary. I've got to save her, man. Be a man. Yeah, I can't abandon my friends, especially at a time like this. Gripping my knife tightly, I charge into the center of the room, shouting, "Hey, you stupid oafs!" They all turn around, staring at me blankly for a moment before their expressions turn to rage. You just came out here to die, didn't you, little man? Gulp. You really want us to trample over your head that badly? Well, I suppose we can accommodate you, the goblin boss says, giving a deep laugh. Without a moment's hesitation, Kid shouts back, "Don't think you can easily pick a fight with the likes of the great Kid and get away with it." Wait a minute, so you're the elusive Kid? The boss asks as its eyes softly narrow. How sweet this is. Perhaps if I deliver your head to Lord Lynx, he'll give me a nice reward. The boss goblin takes its morning star from its side. The huge iron ball jangles down to the floor. Please don't confuse us with just any ordinary goblins. Striking fear into the hearts of men everywhere, we are Lynx's elite security force, the fearsome magical gobbler team. If you got time to spout off that nonsense, man, you sure got enough time to get your arses kicked. Kid shouts, exploding with a fierce roundhouse kick. The goblin teeters and staggers, dizzied by the brunt of her attack. Let's get him, boys. Start with that little twerp over there. Metal boss begins swinging around, swooshing through the air with deadly speed. Jet Gobbler attack, now! Is this supposed to be like the jet stream attack? Sliding across the floor like the wind, the goblin simultaneously rush us. It is the jet stream attack. Looking up, all I can see is a goblin coming at me head-on, ready to bash his weapon. Dodge. I feel the gust of wind from the metal ball as it closely grazes by me. Somehow I manage to dodge safely. However, I fall off balance and hit the ground with a thud. This fin I start to hear an odd howling noise from behind me. I turn around to see Magil's black wind spout shrieking out from his fingertips. Transforming in midair into a countless number of razors, they fly like homing missiles into one of the goblins, cutting it to shreds. How can a human have such power? Who are you? The goblin shrieks in fear as his body is effortlessly torn to pieces. Magil's expression remains unchanged as he silently surveys the scene looking for his next target. Another huge iron ball whizzes through the air, swinging down towards me. As quickly as I can, I roll over and try to dodge the attack. However, the iron ball strikes me square in the back, sending me clear of my feet. Ouch. I hit the ground with a hard thud as the back of my head smacks against the hard stone floor. I roll over and try to recover, but the throbs of pain are unbearable. Sing, boy, sing the song of pain. Scampering away, I suddenly see a dark shadow cover the ground in front of me. Fearfully looking up, a huge goblin towers directly above my quivering body. Die! The goblin roars, swinging his weapon down. No, I won't go that easy. Beside me, an arrow light jumps out from Magil's fingertips, instantly polarizing the goblin. The goblin topples to the ground, half vaporized. Magil stares at it with his ever-present eyes of steel as his dark cape flaps in the breeze. Somehow I manage to reel to my feet and avoid the blow. Looking up, all I see is a goblin coming at me head-on, ready to bash its weapon into my skull. Fight! However, before I can do anything, the goblin snaps me up in his thick arms and smashes me as hard as it can to the floor. My mind goes completely blank from the shock. Kid comes to my aid, delivering a lightning quick strike to one of the goblins. What's the matter, huh? Where's your magical gobbler skills now, or whatever you call it? The goblin can't help but collapse onto the floor in pain. The kid boots it in the jaw before backing away for our next attack. Quit screwing around, Serge. Keep an eye on your own trouble. Another huge iron ball whizzes through the air, swinging down towards me. Ram the bastard. I got to think of a better strategy than just standing around. I really put my weight into the goblin, trying to force it off balance. Gritting my teeth, I butt my head against the goblin's face. My head feels like it's been hit by a hammer. However, as I open my eyes, I see that the goblin's in a lot worse shape than I am. It falls backwards in a daze, its mouth a bloody mess. Long live Lord Link's glory to the magical gobblers, says the last of the goblins as it comes crashing to the ground in a bloody mess. Phew, that's the last of them. Easy, easy, says Kid, wiping some sweat off her brow. Damn it, Serge, you're such a loon, thinking you could rescue me from those goons like that. Yeah, it worked out pretty well, though, eh, mate? We must be on our way, Magil says. There's no way of knowing who else knows we're here now. I know, that bastard's causing us too much trouble. They said they were Lynx's personal guards, yeah? They might have some valuable stuff on them. But before she even finishes speaking, Kid starts to search through the head goblin's clothes. Jeez, there's really no need to be such a scavenger. Hey, what's this? She says, removing a small metal object from the goblin's pocket. It's a hand-shaped medallion of some sort, covered in archaic-looking symbols. It's a key, Magil says, walking over towards us. These markings suggest it unlocks a certain magical seal. Wow. Well, they're lost, Kid says, casually putting the plate in her pocket. Damn it, we don't have any of our good stuff. Cheap goblins. She stands up and looks around, sighing. It'd be a waste to leave all this loot behind, though. You can always come back for it later, Kid. Kid turns around and grins. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's go. The night won't last forever. Alright, I think the, I think the medallion probably goes in the... hand-shaped plate. Oh, it probably goes in the mouth of truth thing. That's probably where I need to go next. I just want to look up real quick. I want to see if there's a way to like recover health in this game, because it's always been kind of it's really vague. I don't know if I can go back to the other room and the old lady will heal me. The room is quiet except for the sound of the gears. There's no sign of the hooded lady anywhere. Hello? Ma'am? Well, if you're not here, say so, you old hag. The silence is deafening. This is a waste of time. We should investigate elsewhere, says Magil, turning on its heel. Alright, fine. I will continue on with on the verge of death here. I guess I'll save again here. Head back towards the terrace, yeah. The mouth of truth. The hand-shaped plate. I take the hand-shaped plate. Its strange, contorted symbols give me a headache just by looking at them. Nervously, I reach in and place it into the tongue. It's a perfect fit. Sliding it into place, I quickly remove my hand and back away a few steps. The huge white eyes start moving around slowly, and a slight vibration can be felt from behind the wall. Something's happening. Something big. I just wish I knew whether it's good or bad. An odd sound escapes from the mouth of truth as its eyes continue to roll. I want to make a run for it. However, look over and see the ever fearless expression in Kid's eyes, and stay my ground. Suddenly the marble sculpture stops moving. I stare at it, wondering what's going on. Then its tongue starts to roll around inside its mouth, while its eyes tilt further and further upwards until its pupils disappear under its eyelids. We hear the plate sliding down its throat, vanishing into the deep, dark depths of the mansion. What's happening? Apparently, a pious being such as this may roll its eyes from time to time. The simple fact that Magil tried to make a joke just there makes me stop and forget where I am for a second. Ha ha. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna lose another one of my things. I could have got a lot of cash for that, Kid says regrettably. Suddenly, over by the atrium, we start to hear some sort of latch being opened. And then, moments later, the sound of water draining echoes throughout the corridor. Taking a few steps toward the atrium, I see the red water is formed into a whirlpool. As flowing down to the pond, the piranhas are being washed away. What's the matter, little fishies? Not enough water? Aw, playtime's over, you nasty buggers. Come on, I'm dying to see what's past that fountain. Having crossed through the atrium, eventually we come to a split in the path. We can go left or right from here. Let's go left. After a bit of walking, come to an old-looking door with a brass handle. Blech. Damn it, another locked door. I don't get it, there's no smell of gold or nothing. This leads to Viper Manor's catacombs, says Magil hesitantly. He's right, standing here in silence, I realize there's a faint scent of death on the air. And then putting my ear to the door, I start to hear deep, tortured moans from far beyond. I jump back, looking at the door. Let's try somewhere else. Let's not go into the dark torture chamber. Heading away from the catacombs as I come to a split, turning right, head back to the atrium. Ahead of us, can see nothing but a dark stone corridor. Keep on going. After a little ways down the passageway, we come to a descending staircase. We can go further down. We slowly walk down the stairs, taking us deep below ground. It's as though we're descending further and further into an endless abyss. Once we reach the bottom, we come to another split. We can go left or right, but both paths look equally dismal. Let's try the right path. After a little while, the passage ends at a small door. Hey, I smell home cooking. Food. Oh, it's just a small kitchen. For the servants, probably, I add. Look around the tiny room. There's a sink, pots and pans, and a bunch of food in the cupboards. A rat hangs in a cage off in the corner, but aside from that, it's a pretty average kitchen. Kid walks over to a deep saucepan and peers inside. Smells fresh. Want some grub, Serge? Sure, maybe it'll heal me. I timidly peer into the saucepan. Looks like some sort of stew. Using the ladle on the stove, I reach in and take a big scoop. Mmm, delicious! Kid looks at me again. After a moment of hesitation, she comes over. Quit hogging it all for yourself, mate, she says, taking the ladle and sniffing the warm mixture. Want some, Magil? No, thank you. I know what that is made from. It's made from people. We take some bowls from the shelves and serve ourselves some more. As we eat more and more, the stew's warmth flows all through us. I feel great. Oh, good, we're healed, thankfully. I wasn't sure if that was going to heal me or not, but it did. But then, all of a sudden, a quiet, shrill voice echoes out. It seems to be coming from over by the cage. Ah, what an independent young lad. Are all the boys wearing braids these days? I stop and look at Kid. Who's there? Looking over in the direction of the voice, we see nothing but the single rat. It stares at us with its small, beady eyes. Ah, excuse me. You're a girl, not a boy. It looks like Kid can't decide whether to be puzzled or infuriated by this. But just between you and me, I don't think this is the first time her personality has led someone to think she's a guy. At any rate, the brown rat continues. Listen, please, kind humans. I am trapped within a most unfortunate situation. Along my way to the kitchen this morning to bring home some food for my mother, goblins seized me and trapped me here, in this cage. Unless I can escape, I am to be a side dish for their next meal. A side dish. Listening to the rat, Kid walks over to the sink. Please, you must help me. My desperately ill mother awaits my return. The rat pleads, its eyes twinkling in the light. However, I look over towards Kid. She's over by the sink, her face getting redder and redder. Stupid rat! Don't you know a lady when you see one? Kid yells, stomping out of the kitchen. Oh, young lady, I did not mean to... With Kid gone, the rat turns towards me. Brother! Help me. Yeah, sure. I understand. I open the cage door. The rat quickly scurries out. Heh, the rat laughs, and a strange smile comes over his face. You really are a bunch of fools. Spitting out those words, the rat suddenly starts to tremble before rapidly growing in size, growing larger and larger by the second. Oh no, it is a griffin. Stupid humans, you're just in time for lunch. My mother's, that is. Damn it, Serge, you walked right into his trap. I just got healed, too. Oh man, what was I thinking? I thought it was just a rat. Griffin rises up on his hind legs, screeching and flapping its huge wings. Suddenly, a sharp sound swooped down at us. Jump back. I frantically try to dodge the beast, hoping to avoid those terrifying 3-inch claws. I manage to avoid its blow, but I'm now cornered into the back of the room. As it inches near me for a strike, it rises up onto its hind legs once again, this time even higher than before. However, in a moment of blind luck, the griffin suddenly loses balance on the slippery floor, comes crashing to the ground. Ugh. Wow, talk about close calls. Let out a breath of relief as I stand over the griffin, wondering what to do next. So, you ugly little rat. Now who's stupid? Wait. Please, I beg you. Kind, beautiful human girl. I am aware of valued information. If you promise to spare my life, I will tell you a special secret of the mansion. I don't know, you lied already, you bugger. I'd rather just kill you and have it be over with, Kid says, taking a step closer. Kid, let us hear what he has to say, Magil says, coming between them. Kid pauses for a second and then steps back. Thank you. That would have been fun, Kid says, shrugging. One day, you too may find yourself within my situation, caged in on all sides. If such a fate comes to pass, remember these directions, and your lives will be spared. I have a feeling I should probably write this down. Right. 3 steps. Left, 2 steps. Right, 2 steps. And then you will see. So, right 3, left 2, right 2. It is a puzzle combination. No sooner than it says this, the griffin transforms back into a rat, scurrying off into the crack in the wall. I sure hope sparing that thing was worth it. Who knows when it will sneak up on us next. Well, I'm sure the information will be useful. Come to a staircase, and passage continues on. Let's see what's on the other side of the passage. After a little ways, we're presented with a sturdy set of doors. A wooden plaque has been hung above the door frame. Only one word written on it. Armory. Armory, eh? The key to the catacombs has got to be in here. Kid places her ear on the door. Not a peep. It's fine. Someone is here, however. Is it a goblin? Kind of? Maybe, I don't know. With a book in hand, a single goblin sits in a chair, humming to itself. A sweet aroma fills the room, presumably from the teacup sitting on the table before it. There's something different about this goblin. It doesn't seem hostile in the least. Looking up from its book, it examines us from behind its bifocals. Ah, welcome. It's rare to have visitors all the way down here. Too bad we're not guests, Kid shouts. If you want to live, tell us where the key to the catacombs is. And with that, Kid takes her knife and thrusts it into the desk, slicing through the tablecloth. The goblin remains docile. Ah, you must be the elusive Kid. I so wanted to see you with my own eyes. We've all heard so much about you. But before it can finish its sentence, Kid grabs the knife and hurls it through the air. The goblin sets its book down, now unreadable due to the 7-inch blade protruding through it. He removes the knife and places it on the table. Your reputation precedes you. You are quite a radical young lady. Nevertheless, it's a shame. I wanted to see how that novel ended up. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Esmeld, it says, offering a simple introduction. Please, I do hate to keep my guests standing at bay. Come, sit and we shall converse over tea. My first thought is that it's poisoned. Despite my concerns, Magil sits down. I guess we'll take a seat. Trusting Magil, I sit down next to him. Surely he's got something up his sleeve. Looking at Kid, she truly doesn't want anything to do with this. She remains standing, keeping a vigilant eye on Esmeld. Black tea is set for 3 at the table. Ah, there we are. After a moment, Magil takes the teacup and brings it slowly to his mouth. He takes a sip, and then sets the cup back on the table. Esmeld smiles. Ah, Himalayan chimpanzee. I've not had this blend in quite some time. That's a very strange name for a blend of tea. Himalayan chimpanzee. It's from the Himalayas and taste of monkey. I don't think there's Himalayas in the world of Chrono Trigger, but I'm just saying. I see you're a gentleman of fine taste. I will have you know not many of my visitors have known of this type of black tea. Listening to their banter, I stare at my cup. Could it really be poisoned? Picking up the teacup, I bring it close to my mouth. It doesn't smell so bad. It smells of wet monkey. Delicious, I exclaim. I never had anything like this before. Loosen up a bit, sitting back in my chair. Wait a sec, what's going on? My wounds are being healed. Again. Looking over towards Kit, she seems to be enjoying it as well. So, let's get down to business. Certainly the key to the catacombs has to be around here somewhere. Whether I remember where it is, however, that's a different story. Is there something you'd like to exchange? Something I want. Your life, perhaps? He says, as his eyes light up from behind his glasses to grab a knife. Oh, you misunderstand, young man. I do not wish to harm you, Esmeralda says, noticing the sudden look of shock on my face. I enjoy chatting with the many types of visitors that we have in the mansion. Surely, as an adventurer, you must have plenty of interesting stories to tell. Adding to this, he looks in my direction with a smile. I look highly on unique stories and have been known to reward such storytellers. Staring down the dark liquid before me, I start to rack my brain for a really good story. Well, this one time in band camp, Okay, I've got it. On one particular evening, a small girl walked through a dark and dreary forest. The girl had searched anywhere and everywhere for the golden sunflower, the only cure for her mother's illness. And so, after walking endlessly, the sunflower was nowhere to be found. A fine beginning, perhaps it is. Is that all? No, On one evening, a girl walked through a forest searching for the only cure for her mother, the golden sunflower. After walking endlessly, she hadn't come across the sunflower, and suddenly before her she came across a gold light, shining in a clearing. It was the golden sunflower. The girl put a few of the sunflower seeds into her bag. She was sure it would cure her mother, she thought. Hurrying back to her home, she crushed a few of the seeds into a drink and fed it to her mother. Getting better, the two lived happily ever after. Oh, brother, you could probably come up with a better story than that. A fairly interesting story. Very well, here's the key. No, wait, I changed my mind. Your story sucked. It was stupid. There was no point, there was no plot to it. There's no proper build-up to it. It's just, a girl goes looking for flour, finds flour, and feeds seeds to her mother. The end. Esmeralda leans over towards the wall and knocks on a certain spot. There, a secret trapdoor opens up. He reaches in and takes out a key. However, as I start to reach for the key, Esmeralda recoils his hand. Ha ha, your story sucked. Signed, the goblin speaks. Yes, I suppose you could say there is something more that I wish for. I glance at Magil, then back to Esmeralda. Long ago, when I was a young, foolish lad, I was involved with General Viper's daughter, Miss Riddell. Riddell? The General's daughter? Oh, you didn't know? Indeed, Miss Riddell's true father was General Viper. I don't know who's speaking to who here. Anyhow, for the sake of harnessing the power of the frozen flame, Lord Lynx abducted Miss Riddell, taking her as his own daughter. Within that strange rock lies a strong mental connection to this particular mistress. And so, I have resided here, all these years silently waiting for the right time to exact revenge on Lord Lynx for taking my dear Miss Riddell from me. If you will come in order to find Lord Lynx, promise me you will not mention any of this. You have come here to slay him, have you not? Esmeralda asked calmly, holding the key in his hand. For the time being, I suppose. Unfazed by the question, I answered truthfully. Well, this is sure a strange turn of events. Hearing these things, I'm a goblin who's supposed to be defending Viper Manor. All of a sudden, Kid interrupts. Hell with the time being. Yeah, that's our plan outright. I see. Well, I certainly don't wish to detain you any longer. I would help you more, but I prefer not to openly side myself with either party, he says, handing us the key. Well, there still is something you got that I want. Esmeralda looks up, curious. How about some more of that great tea of yours? Esmeralda thinks for a second, then reaches behind him. Very well. One bag, he says, reluctantly parting with the tea bag. Okay, leave it to us. Throwing the tea bag down her bosom, Kid says to Esmeralda, you don't have to worry about the thing, I never lie about my promises. Esmeralda nods, smiling. Let's head out, the frozen flame's bound to be around here somewhere, Kid says, heading to the door in high spirits. Magil pays his respects and we're off. So now we have the catacomb key. So let's head towards the, I guess we'll go to the catacomb. Coming to the top of his name in the corner, run and master steps. Continue on through the passage. To the catacombs. Okay, the goblin's key should open this door. Kid says, putting the key into the lock. With a click, the door unlocks. The door opens with a deep creak. Damp air creeps up from below. Peering into the dark, decrepit place, I wonder how I ever got talked into coming to a place like this. We find ourselves in a long hallway, flanked on both sides by rows of countless jail cells. The cold iron bars stretch on in front of us endlessly. One, two. Oh, Gorba, the kid, Zorander, forgive me. A quiet, sobbing voice seems to be coming from the third cell on the right. I peer around the corner into the cell. In this dim, damp space, an old man sits in solitude, quietly mumbling to himself. Hey, mister. Everyone, it was all because of me. Every last one of the dragoons. Miss Riddell, even the general. Forgive me, please. Ignoring us, the old man continues to mutter, staring at the floor as he rocks back and forth. Hey, can you hear me? Kid says, shaking the bars a little. He will not hear a thing. He has constructed a wall around himself, Magil says. What do you mean? I asked Magil. A wall used for shielding one's mind from reality. After being exposed to horrific events, tremendous amounts of pain and guilt has this effect on a person. He has made a safe world inside his own mind, where he retreats into. From there, he refuses to acknowledge anything he does not want to admit. I notice that talking about this has given Magil a sort of sad, lost look in his face. Noticing my glance, he quickly turns away from me. Strange. Strange. Magil somehow reminded me of Kid just then. When Magil turns back, his usual blank expression has returned. Does this make sense to you, Serge? I guess. Magil continues looking at Kid and me. We rarely see the walls we're trapped within. However, given time, some can come to understand and possibly even break free of these shortcomings. I wait for Magil to finish, but he doesn't end up saying anything. I'd ask, but oh well. The mind revealing itself to itself. We can't help this old geezer. Let's get back to work, Kid says, already heading for the door. Wait, Kid, Magil calls out. Somehow or another, we may yet find a way into this man's mind. What could Val do? Didn't you hear what he was talking about? The dragoons, Riddell, General Viper. Oh, he's probably just into old folklore or something, Kid says, returning to the door. I have a feeling his knowledge will prove to be useful. Certainly he has heard something of importance concerning our situation, Magil says. Well, I guess we ought to help the old bloke out with his troubles while we're here. What do you say we do, Kid asked. Somehow we have to put an end to this. Huh? Kid said, looking up. You got a problem with me? No. That's not what I meant. But before I can explain, Kid's fist suddenly flies into my face. Narrowly avoiding the blow, I look up to see Magil starting to speak again. We must find a way to reach beyond his wall. For every locked door there exists a key, so to speak. We will never make any progress with this man until we know what lies in his past. What are you talking about, a key? Kid asked. I do not know either, Magil asked. However, there is at least one person in Viper Manor who does. Riddell, I was going to say the old woman, but Riddell. Indeed. Leaving the endless rows of cells behind, we head back to the passageway. So let's go to Riddell's room. Also, and chilling wind blows past me, not only that, but also a thick fog has started to accumulate all around. Oh no, it's a ghost again. It's a poltergeist, don't move. Kids wishing there's nothing to add to my increasing feelings of fear and dread. I'm gonna hope to scare it off. I reach for my knife, trying to put on my game face. With my weapon sitting down in front of me, I focus my attention on the tip of the blade. Suddenly, an icy chill blows through me. My temperature seems to be dropping at an alarming rate. Cold. I start to shiver more and more. I realize my knife isn't going to do a bit of good against the thing's magic. So cold. Feels as though I could tip over and shatter into 1,000 pieces. Serge, come on, mate, snap out of it. The sound of Kid's voice pierces into my conscience like a hot knife through butter. However, I quickly start to lose it once again. She runs to my side as I start to tumble over. With my last few bits of energy, I open my eyes and see Magil laying loose some sort of spell, shrieking towards the poltergeist. Serge, hey Serge, you still with us? I hear as I realize someone's slapping me over and over. Kid, I shout, groggily getting up. Serge, I thought... Been her for that long and all. Wow, she seems concerned. Almost really distraught. Along with her under. But hey, no loss. You're back good as new. Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but... Phew. You okay, mate? Yeah, I'm not bad. I got some bruises here and there, but nothing too serious. You? Are you kidding? I kicked that thing's arse to bed. Okay, certainly I got hurt. This is the thing about the battle system in this game. It's like it's so kind of unclear whether you're doing the right thing or whether you got hurt or not. But okay, we're still alive, so we'll keep going. We need to go... Turning right goes to the atrium. Okay, go to the atrium. Smell the pungent odor of dead fish. Mmm, tasty. Not really. Return to the atrium. Ahead of us, we see another archway that takes us back to the upward staircase, and so links us in Riddell's quarters. We come to a currently decorated room, small strings in place on this, and some charm. Is someone there? I instantly hide behind the door, trying to figure out where that voice came from. It sounded like a girl, but it wasn't Kid. It's Lynx's adopted daughter, Riddell. Oh, she's here. It has to be her. Odd, I could have sworn I heard someone come in, she says. Apparently she hasn't seen us yet. What will we do? I keep myself hidden behind the door. Suddenly, Kid bolts out from behind a chair. She suddenly comes up behind Riddell, putting a knife to her throat. We've come for the frozen flame. Where is it? Kid yells in a low, strict voice. Kid, there's no need to be like that, I say, trying to calm her down. Quiet, Serge. Riddell giggles at the two of us. What's so funny? Kid says in a light tone. Oh, come on, you can't be thieves. You're far too noisy. I wouldn't be saying such things if I were you. Well then, go ahead and cut me. At that moment, I picture in my head Riddell collapsing with a blue face smeared in blood. Kid, look at her. She's not going to hurt us. Damn it. I so want to use my knife. All right, still I don't think I'm not keeping an eye on you. The feeling is mutual, Riddell says. Don't worry, we're not your enemies. We're not after your power, I say to Riddell, trying to keep cool. We just come to talk. If there's anything you could tell us about the frozen flame, or perhaps the Acacia Dragoons. Hearing these words, a somber look comes over Riddell's face. After a moment, she begins to speak. The frozen flame. It was kept in a kingdom to the north for centuries. Legend has it, with its subtle, mysterious power, they allegedly could guide people and change history, all while somehow remaining elusive to those who sought it, or so I have heard. At the time of that kingdom's downfall, it was seized from its resting place, passed from hand to hand. Finally, it came into the possession of my father, General Viper. Lynx approached my father as a friend years ago. Blindly trusting him, my father was taken advantage of by Lynx, unable to realize his true intentions. And so, on that fateful day, struck down by his alleged friend, my father was robbed and left for dead. Averting her eyes, Riddell buries her face in her hands. I didn't know Lynx was behind all of this at the time he took me into custody. I was just a child. That cursed rock. I didn't know anything about it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I want nothing more than to see this all come to an end, she says with tears in her eyes. I'm taken aback hearing these words. Suddenly, Magil comes forward to speak. Do you know of the old man who currently is locked away in the catacombs? That traitor! Because of him, my father, my dear Zorander. Please, miss. Turning her back on us, Riddell pauses. After a moment, she turns around, letting out a deep sigh. Yes, I know the man of whom you speak. He is an Acacia Dragoon. He is an Acacia Dragoon, is he not? Magil asked. He was, before he spent countless days and nights locked up in the torture chamber, losing his mind as well as his identity in the process. I remember the day they rescued him from that dreadful wound, beaten within an inch of his life. The torture chamber you speak of, it is the room upstairs with the trapped ceiling, correct? Riddell nods silently. Perhaps you may find a clue to his past there, says Magil. I'd hoped it wouldn't come to this. If you must search that room, be sure you have the Ein Lanzer with you before you do. What? Kid asked. It is a holy white sword created long ago by ancient sages, along with its demonic brother, the Masamune. It was the Acacia Dragon's most prized possession. It once glided through the air in Zorander's hand, shimmering like a star. Now, however, the dragons are all but extinct, and the sword has been stored somewhere in the mansion, as though it was some sort of trivial memento. It is much more than a common sword, though. Shielded by its magical enchantment, its bearer will be protected against many forms of evil. Thinking of those memories of days long gone. Again, Riddell hangs her head in sadness. I wish I could be more of a help to you. I apologize. Nah, that was plenty, Kid says, heading out of the room. But I wish I was more powerful like you people, Riddell says, biting her lip. Stopping in the doorway, Kid looks over her shoulder. Strength didn't get us here. Power comes from believing in yourself. I see. I wish you luck. As she heads out of the room, Kid mutters, "Hope it ain't bad luck." From here, the passageway stretches to the right and left. Okay, so we need to head back to... We gotta head back to the storage room, where the old woman was before, because the sword was in there. Save... slot... Okay, go in. The room is quiet except for the sound of the gears. There's no sign of the hood lady anywhere. Rush over towards the sword. Looking down on it, Magil starts to speak. This may be what we're looking for. By the looks of it, the sword could be the fabled Holy Einlanzer, or perhaps the demonic Masamune. Well, Magil, you know about the Masamune? Yes. Did you ever know its owner? Yes. He was a frog. Was he your mate? No. So he was one of your enemies then? No. Well, hey Serge, take this thing. Huh? Come on, you don't expect a fair maiden like me to carry this bulky thing all over the place, do you? Well... Fine, I'll take it. I grit my teeth and remind myself it would give me absolutely nowhere to argue with her. So I go to Kid's side and pick up the sword just as I was told to. Oof. Jeez, it's heavy. Okay, let's get our arses to that bloody torture chamber. I can almost smell the frozen flame from here. I follow Kid out of the room, dragging the heavy sword with me. All the way back upstairs to the torture chamber. We came to the old, still-looking door waiting for us silently atop the staircase. I look up, remembering the deadly ceiling. I'm definitely not going to repeat the mistake of overstaying my welcome here, especially after hearing what Riddell had to say. Somewhere inside this room there has to be something that will bring that old man back, but what? Just as I thought, Magil says dryly, examining the cracks in the floor. Kid and I walk over, kneeling down where he's at. Between the cracks between the floor stone, there is a thick, smelly, butter-like substance that's been jammed into it among the stains of blood. Butter substance? Without warning, the door suddenly slammed shut again. It started again. Okay, what will we do? We'll attack it with the sword. We have to use the sword somehow, Kid yells, her voice almost inaudible thanks to the ceiling's deafening screeching. But how? First the sword and the kid. Oh, damn it, what bullet? Serge, Kid screams desperately. Sound like I was gonna try to save, but the game doesn't wait for me. Arr, blade sliced in my neck. What are we gonna do? On the floor. With as much power as I can muster, I lift the heavy sword up and plunge it into a crack in the center of the floor. A huge jolt runs through the room. Bolts of light scatter in all four directions from the sword, running along the floor, then up the walls. Reaching the ceiling, the deadly contraption groans and then comes to a halt. Exhausted and relieved, I collapse to the floor. After a minute, I catch my breath and open my eyes. Strange. Now that I take another look at the inscription we found earlier, there's a certain stone just beside it that doesn't seem to have any cement around it. You walk over to it. Kid tugs on it, and finds that it's loose. Removing the heavy stone, a dim, glistening light can be seen from far within the hole. Kid reaches in and carefully removes the shimmering object. A beautifully decorated gold ring sits in the palm of her hand. It's adorned with a slender set of leaves, like those of a fern, decorated with 5 small rubies around it. The Acacian coat of arms, Magil says. Kid tries the ring on, but strangely enough, it doesn't seem to fit on any of her fingers. This ring must mean something to the old man. We could use it to break through his wall, couldn't we? I excitedly asked Magil, already knowing the answer. He nods in silence. Yeah, this has to be it. Abandoning the Einlanzer, now proudly standing upright, like a beacon of light, amidst this dismal room, we hurry out of the torture chamber, hopefully never to return again. I was gonna see what would happen if I tried to stab Kid with the sword, but I guess the game wouldn't. See, that's the thing you're not aware of in this game, is that the choices are timed. Especially in situations like that, you have to kind of make a decision quickly. You can't just wait around. Of course, now I gotta go all the way back to the catacombs now, which... who knows what enemies I'll come across on the way. And I'm kind of getting close to 3 hours here. Like I said, I really don't know how long this game is supposed to be. I mean, it's not supposed to be super long. Alright, let me clear my throat from as we proceed. No matter how many times I return here, I don't think I'll ever get any more used to this. Oh wait, no, not turn back. Dang it. Ah. Pressed the wrong button. I was pressing buttons too quickly. We return to the old man. Magil walks up to the cell and grasps the iron bars. He positions his feet and starts to pull away at the bars with an incredible intensity. After a moment, the bars start to bend like taffy. Magil enters first through the newly created opening. Kid follows, kneeling down before the mumbling old man. Putting her hands on the old man's shoulders, Kid tries to look into his eyes, but he continues to stare at the floor. Frustrated, she starts to shout at him, shaking him vigorously. "Come on, old fella, get up." The old man's head shakes back and forth like a rag doll's, but his eyes remain averted. No, we have to use the ring. I come between Kid and the old man. Kid looks at me with straightforward eyes. "Don't get in the way, Serge." "Kid, look at him," I say. Being agitated is the last thing he needs right now. Humph. After I'm done with him, this old geezer's gonna be brimming with old stories. As Kid shifts her weight onto her other knee, suddenly the occasion ring falls out of her pocket and falls down to the ground, bouncing once, twice, 3 times, and comes to a stop right before the old man's eyes. Trying to get Kid to calm down, I signal for her to look over to the old man, who's now smiling faintly. "The ring," he says in a voice so quiet it's barely audible. However, his eyes quickly turn their murky state. "Finally, my allies, you have returned. Because of me, the frozen flame was seized, and I have desecrated the name of the Acacia Dragoons. I am the only one left, but you have returned. Ah, Merkid, Zorander, now that we are once again reunited, let us all head back to Stalk Lake." "Geez, listen, mister. The frozen flame, where is it?" "Any small hint will help. Come on." "Frozen flame?" the old man asks. A warm smile streaks across his face. "Ah, my dear Mr. Dell, I have not seen you in quite some time. Surely you have not forgotten the secret entranceway?" Yeah. You think you could, tell me about that again, Gramps?" Kid asked, trying to sound as ladylike as possible. "In the ballroom. 3rd candlestick on the left." Kid hugs the old man ecstatic, and so resumes his mumbling in that distant, shuddering voice. "Please forgive me. For your father, I beg you, Adele. The Dragoons. It's high time for you to bust on out of here, old man," Kid says, pointing to the bent iron bars. However, he once again refuses to look up. Come on, we've done all we can do here. He's got to walk through those bars himself. Thanks, old timer. To the ballroom. The lovely smell of dead fish. Third candlestick on the left. I would remember that correctly. A countless number of candles spectacularly illuminates a huge room. An old-fashioned grandfather clock stands on the right, ticking away from morbid stillness. Step into the center of the hall, looking upwards at the oil canvases shimmering in the low light. Okay, third one on the left, Kid says quietly. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. As Kid slowly pushes against the candlestick, it starts to move slowly. What's going on? I stammer, trying to brace myself. This entire room is slowly sinking to the ground. This entire room is slowly sinking to the ground, Magil says, not Serge. The ballroom is sinking. All of it. Suddenly the room starts to fall much faster. Chills run down my spine as I look around, seeing the paintings smacking against the wall and the candles dropping to the floor. I start to get used to the sinking sensation. My heart fills with a violent mixture of anxiety, expectation, and hope. What awaits us at the bottom? The frozen flame. Could it really be down here? Is this our adventure's end? What if we actually take it into our hands? Kid, Magil, I wonder what they're feeling right now. As the room continues to sink on the ground like an elevator to hell, I start to hear Kid speak in a soft, meek voice. Sometimes I do struggle to win, even when I know I've already lost. Just like that lady said. Why do I do that? Looking over at her, I realize this isn't the Kid I usually see. There's a faint, shy smile can be seen across her face. Suddenly I feel something so powerful go through me. It feels like a wave of fire, surging through my heart. Why bring us here, Kid? Is it fate? Fate. Life. I don't even know anymore. Though the links, nothing set in stone. But sometimes it feels like there's something inside me, guiding me, no matter what I do. It won't matter because I know it'll be showing me what to do next. What am I saying? Crazy talk, Kid says, smiling faintly. I don't know what to feel hearing this. Kids always put on a strong face no matter what, seemingly embracing terror when it comes. But right now I can't help but feel the weight of the situation bearing down on us. If you take these matters with a grain of salt, like Kid seems to, it's easy to live a day-to-day life like she does. As I look in her face, that strange expression of hers relieves me. I'm sorry. All this talk, it ain't me, Kid says, scrunching her nose. Instantly returning to her serious gaze, she says, But thanks, Serge, Magil. Thanks for coming here. Because of this, maybe down the road I'll have another chance. Huh? Nothing, forget it, Kid says as she closes her eyes, smiling. As usual, she sends me into a deep thought. Deep Thoughts by Serge. Not only barely visible, Magil stands silently amidst the shadows, effortlessly balanced with closed eyes. As I look around at my companions, I wonder what awaits us. We share a calm silence in our hearts as we continue to descend far below ground. Suddenly, a metallic grinding sound can be heard from all around us. The room comes to a stop, swaying a bit. Guess this is our stop, Kid says with a hollow laugh. I stand motionless, staring at Kid and Magil in the dim, flickering luminescence. Suddenly, the organ comes to life. Looking back towards the monstrous thing, no one is even near it. Nevertheless, it continues to play its strange, twisted tune, the keys and pedals moving wildly on their own. Sounds like a funeral march, huh? Just kidding. Bad joke, Kid. Alright, let's do this, Kid says, taking a deep breath as she heads for the door. I glance at Magil, nodding my head as we follow her out. It's a funeral march, all right. Linksys, that is. We start down the long, dark path in front of us. Actually, before we continue, I need more drink, because I have drank everything I have, so this might be a good time for me to take a quick break. So enjoy the music for a moment while I go get another thing to drink here. I'll be back in a moment. Enjoy the music. Alright. I have returned with more water. Because I need that to keep my throat moist. Alright. Let's continue. We start down the long, dark path in front of us. The air down here carries a thick stench of death. Somewhere further down this passageway, Lynx's subterranean hideout waits. Kid's got a strange look on her face. I can't imagine what must be going through her head right now. Magil, on the other hand, I can never read him, but still, we usually talk a little, lightening things up. But right now, nobody's making a sound. I try to offer some conversation, hoping to avoid the increasing tension. So just why are we after the frozen flame? My question met with nothing but a cold gaze from Kid. There's no response from her. Actually, now that I think about it, I haven't heard Kid talk much about anything in her past, ever. But then, just as I think I'm not going to be answered, she starts to speak. I made a promise with my big sis to get the frozen flame and bury it for her. Bury it for her? Where? At her old friend's grave. Kid looks down at her feet, continuing. I was still little at the time, so I can't remember much of it. But there was this friend of hers, who she'd grown up with, who died a while back. She said she wanted him to be able to rest with the frozen flame. I don't know what she meant by that, but after what happened at the temple, I vowed to get my revenge and honor what she wanted. I stayed silent, not knowing what kind of reply to offer. I should have talked more about it before I got you involved in everything, I guess, she says after a while. It's bad, Serge. With nothing but the sound of our footsteps echoing around us, we continue on, deeper and deeper into the passageway. Suddenly, Magil comes to a stop. Do not move. Huh? Kid and I look around suspiciously. Around us, bones are scattered in all directions. Many of them have been cut cleanly in half. Looking around more, amidst the dim light, I start to see that the walls have been splattered with blood. Then suddenly a trace of light catches my eye from behind. There's a bolt of electricity approaching us, sparkling like a lit fuse on the ground. Next, you know, I probably am going to save again. What is saved there? That's fine. Coming within a few feet of us, the spark splits off into two, forming a circle around us. Once the circle is complete, an odd glow starts to shine at our feet. Then, from where the sparks have traced, light shoots upward, forming a wall of light around us. It is a trap. It's a devil circle. We try to move, but we find ourselves caught within the rays of light. With the scalding, noisy winds whirling all around us, all I see are rays of shimmering light in every direction I look. The Serge is very silly looking now that you actually get to see him. Well, what do? I can't see anything in this light. Magil grabs me by the shoulder and returns me to the center of the circle. Thankfully, he seems to be able to see just fine. His mask is probably shielding his eyes from the radiance. There is always a way out of a devil's circle. You must find the gaps to walk through. If you say so. Suddenly, Kit's elbow grazes one of the balls. Sparks scatter in all directions. She instantly snaps her arm back, lynching in pain. Unable to see any gaps whatsoever, I hesitantly start to make my way towards the blinding wall of light. Oh, okay, here's where I do the steps. Okay. So 3 steps to the right. Take 3 steps to the right. Come on, to the right a little. There, come on now. I remember standing in a small gap and walking the scene all of a sudden. Holding my breath, I leap into it with my arms shielding my face. Alright, we made it through. However, I opened my eyes only to see more of these glimmering walls swirling before us. Unable to see any gaps there, as I started my way towards the blinding wall of light, and we're going to do 2 steps to the left. You've got to go to the left a little. There, come on now. And when we stand in a small gap in the wall, can you see all of a sudden, holding my breath, I leap into it with my arm shielding my face. Alright, we made it through. Now we're opening my eyes, only to see more of these glimmering walls swinging from me. And now we gotta go 2 steps to the right. To the right, slowly. There, come on, now. When we stand in a small gap in the wall, can you see me? And all of a sudden, when I run up, I leap into it while my arm shield my face. And puzzle solved. I scurry away from the blood-curdling thing as fast as I can. Looking back, I see it vanish in a puff of smoke. Just as quickly as it arrived, the wind instantly dies down as well, and all the dust and grime that was blowing around falls back to the floor in a flash. Everything has returned to a quiet stillness. Too quiet. And so, heading down the hallway further and further, eventually. At last. Kid steps towards the mighty set of doors, letting out a sigh of relief. Beyond this door, the frozen flame. From behind his mask, Magil's eyes let loose a cool radiance. Okay, let's go, Kid says eagerly, grasping the handle. Whoa. This cavern sprawls out to the great lengths before our eyes. A forgotten world, hidden deep below ground. And with a scarlet radiance, a single small gem shimmers in the darkness. The frozen flame. Finally, we're here. The jewel shimmers warmly, almost as if it's responding to us. Taking a few steps into the moist cavern, Magil whispers, "Remarkable, intact ruins of the lost, magical kingdom." Just as I start to ask Magil what he means, a taunting laugh can be heard from high above us. Lynx! Kid immediately pulls out her knife and hurls it through the air with all her might. As it approaches Lynx, he easily swats it out of the way, almost too quickly for me to see. Always the same. Such a savage little girl. Can't you give a gentleman an honest greeting? You bastard, Kid interrupts. And what have we here? The notorious Shadow Walker. Wouldn't be trying anything like last time, if I were you. Beside me, I see Magil come to a stop. Lord Lynx, Viper Manor's deadly owner. The very same man who murdered Kid's sister, deceived Ordell's father, and eradicated the Acacia Dragoons. Welcome back, Kid. I see you have successfully taken the bait, gluttonous as ever. What? Kid says hesitantly, taking a step back. Lynx stares down at her with those frighteningly piercing eyes of hers. You see, Kid, I brought you here because of the rock you carry. Which rock? Surely you remember the one you received from your sister all those years ago. The priceless keepsake you carry with you dearly, even now. The Chrono Trigger. How'd you know about that? Kid's gaze returns to a scowl. No matter. No matter, we're here for the frozen flame. You're finished, you bastard. Ah, yes, toss your little threats around. But remember, no matter how many times you think you have won, I have generously demonstrated how gravely you are mistaken. And with that, Lynx unsheathes a beautiful golden saber. Previously, I've overlooked doing away with you, letting you scurry on with your pathetic little life. However, this time, I may not be so generous. Kid takes another step back, glaring at Lynx as he approaches. Lynx, you murderer, I'll never forgive you for Luca. This ends here and now. And so, Kid leaps into the air in a fit of rage, aiming a kick between Lynx's eyes. However, just as she reaches him, he swiftly dodges. Kid stands there wondering how she could have missed. Beside her, Lynx laughs, taunting her. Jumping up once again, Kid lets loose a fierce kick. Skimming the tip of his nose, her kick cuts through nothing but air. In a parry attack, Lynx sends his razor-sharp golden saber through the air. The Kid's already leapt back. The two face each other, only a few feet apart. If only you had been a bit faster, Kid, Lynx says, smiling. All of a sudden, a line of red streaks cross Kid's face. Kid! Wiping out the blood, Kid angrily rushes Lynx in a flash through the air. Effortlessly dodging, Lynx drives the sword into her back as soon as she lands. Kid bends back in alarming pain. Somehow, staying on her feet, she stumbles back and readies herself to charge again. Stupid little brat. Lynx lands on an elbow onto Kid's shoulder, knocking her clear down to the ground. I feel her pain from the pit of my stomach as I start to see blood trickling from her lips. What's wrong, little girl? Once again, Kid tries to lash out at Lynx, but he easily kicks her, sending her back into a pile of rubble. Lynx then looks upward, focusing his concentration on the ceiling. As I look up, I see a number of rocks have come dislodged from the cavern, tumbling down onto her. Kid! Kid, no! I call out as I start to rush over to her. However, just as soon as I start to, I see Magil's already there. He streaked across the shadows, putting himself between Lynx and Kid. Saying nothing, Lynx shoots a thread of white light out of his fingertips. The thread-like substance entangles Magil, binding his feet together. He hits the ground with a thud. In dazzling radiance, a countless number of threads fly out from Lynx's fingertips. They immobilize Magil completely, leaving only its head visible. How does that feel, Shadow Walker? Have you felt my web start to drain your life energy yet? Lynx says, smiling ominously. Kid, Magil, what am I going to do? Dumbfounded, I completely blow my opportunity. Damn it, I was going to try to say the game is like so quick on this. Finished with Magil, Lynx turns his attention to Kid. Really, Kid, some time ago you were actually something. But where has all your power gone now? Where has that happy little girl gone? Lynx smiles coldly at Kid, claps at his feet. Well, do you feel like handing the Chrono Trigger yet? Surely you know by now it doesn't pay to be stubborn with me. Since I am a gentleman, stealing from an innocent girl just won't do. Perhaps your companion, the filthy-looking one, maybe he knows where it is. Will he require my persuasion as well? Lynx starts to walk over towards me, trampling over Kid's head. Kid stays voice can be heard faintly. Lynx, Lucas Treasure, you... Gulp, what am I gonna do? No, Kid's son. Kid looks over towards me. With blood trickling from her mouth, she only moves a little. Kid, are you alright? She lies there motionless, wincing painfully. She was stabbed. I mean, she's not that good. Serge, it's okay, Kid. I'm here for you. How kind. However, I think you should be more concerned with your own well-being, young man. An icy chill runs down my spine as I hear the evil voice behind me. I stand up and turn around. So you, whoever you are, opposing me is quite useless, as you have obviously seen. In a flash, Lynx grabs me by the neck. He strangles me with his long, disgusting fingers. Then he starts to lift me up by my neck. Struggling for air, I painfully hang there, unable to tear myself free of his powerful grip. Look, Kid. Look at your pathetic little companion suffering. You can make this all stop if you want. With blood dripping from her lips, Kid opens one of her eyes. Painfully gasping and coughing, she lifts her head up to us. She still wants to get up, but she's hurt far too badly. Serge! Hand over the Chrono Trigger, Kid. Little do you know, but that rock is actually a tiny condensed universe. When combined with the frozen flame, it gains the power to bend space-time, allowing its owner to reshape history. This all could have never happened if you merely wish it. Saying this, Lynx looks towards me, expressionless. And what about you, young man? Perhaps you know where the Chrono Trigger is? He asked, tightening his grip. Serge, what are you going to do, Kid? Can you afford to let this little boy die without helping? How would it feel to have his blood on your hands? As Lynx grasps tighter and tighter, I find myself starting to lose it. Lynx's face becomes a blur. Suddenly, Kid's voice snaps me back into attention. I'm sorry, Serge. What should I do? Don't give it to him. Don't do it. My consciousness fading. Stop! The stone! Here! Lynx looks over the Kid. His eyes light up as he hands loosen around my neck. Abandoning me, Lynx rushes over to her side. Here it is, Lynx. Kid reaches into her pocket. Lynx draws closer. Despite being drained of nearly all strength, Kid manages to whip her knife out, fiercely slashing at Lynx. Oh no, it was a mischievous coy. Screaming viciously, Lynx falls back, trailing his mangled face. Blood starts to trickle down from between his fingers. You! Lynx staggers to his feet, keeping his right hand on the wound. I will have such fun killing you all. With as much power as he can muster, Kid kicks out. As she can muster, Kid kicks at Lynx, sweeping him off his feet. Ha! Spitting blood, Kid coughs a little, but still, a smile manages to come through her agony. Kid. I run over towards her, still feeling the burning grip on my neck. Lynx turns to Kid, staring at her with his cold, evil gaze. Child, you shall beg for death soon enough. Every flavor of pain shall be yours. Prepare to join Luca. Hearing this, Kid's eyes slowly open and catch sight of Lynx. A red-hot gaze burns in her eyes. Slowly she rises to her feet. A shimmering light suddenly spurts out of the frozen flame. At the same time, a golden light bursts out of Kid's chest. Swirling around her, the light rises up, spreading outward in a glistening spiral. What is this? Lynx gasped. Kid's voice calls out from deep within the shower of light. You will not win, Lynx. She trembles, her eyes flowing with red tears. And then, a single voice can be heard. It's a deep, profound voice. The voice of undeniable honesty and truth. Long ago, in a far-off kingdom, lived a girl. Because of her power, the kingdom had come to an end, crumbling under its own weight. Many became engulfed in the temporal vortex that was created, never to be heard from again. But not the girl. She lived on, enduring a much sadder fate. Running from her past and fearing her future, she wanted nothing more than to be swallowed up in the surging waves of the vortex of time. Hating what she'd done, refusing what she'd said or heard, to simply continue living was her curse. But the stone, it had other plans for her. Turning back the hands of her clock, scattering her memories, she was granted another chance. Since the precious stone was in her possession, she carried with her all its will and power. And so, she was born into this era, returning to reality as a mere infant. And with that, the fragments of the shattered Chrono Trigger fall to the ground softly. The cavern before us slowly starts to come apart, bending inward and outward like a tear in reality, until we are completely removed from its existence. A single girl's voice resounded in the darkness. Please, this dark energy, make it stop. Losing all sense of reality and presence, I became engulfed in this realm, drifting aimlessly through the ages. The world flows, time dissolves, and people live and die. I can see it all within this mysterious ocean. The origin of time, every one of life's tranquilities is here. I can see myself as a baby crying at my mother's side where she gives a warm, proud grin. I can see myself as an old man, softly smiling, knowing that death will come soon. Infinite versions of myself extend like ghosts throughout this endless corridor of time. Everywhere I look, I see another life, another era. In this unfolded existence, I could see countless lives and countless dreams. Resting in eternity. A kind voice calls out to me. A single song. Kid. Kid. Can you hear my voice? Kid? Answer me, kid, please. Who's calling my name? Serge? Where is this? Kid, you're here. That song. That beautiful song. It was Luca's favorite. Kid softly smiles, closing her eyes. I can see she can't help but shed a few tears for this long-lost reminiscence. This song is actually something I composed in my earlier years, back when I was a musician. Kids seem to be very fond of it. Oh, wait, who is... I don't know who's speaking. You called out to me, Serge. You called my name. Thank you. You won't leave me, will you? I'm here for you, kid. It all makes so much sense now. I know who I am, Serge. I know what I'm here for. Let's go back now, okay? I'm ready. Ugh. Lynx has pinned Kin to the ground. Oh, okay. And now, you see your death. What do I do? Tech Kid. Lynx will have to get through me if he wants to get to Kid. Oh, will I get to put you both out of your misery at once? Lynx raised a saber head ready to plunge into us. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Quickly turning my head to look in the direction of the voice. You? There, under a large hood, stands the old woman from before. Oh, the woman. So, Vera. Looks like Pore couldn't keep their hands out of this after all, says Lynx flatly. Good to see you again, Master Lynx. Seems you'd seen better days. The old lady, she's from Pore. The frozen flame, we will take custody of it now. It seems none of you can decide on who the rightful owner should be. The old lady gives a small signal, and dozens of armed troops rush out from behind her, securing the cavern. "I will not forget this, Vera," Link shouts, floating up into the air. Brimming with hatred, Link's glance towards us. "And you will see death by my hand." Saying this, Link vanishes in the thin air. The soldiers untie Magil and start heading towards us. The old woman gazes down on us from under her hood. "I believe you all ought to come with us." Looking up, I notice the armed soldiers have swarmed around us with their weapons ready. Seeing this, Magil instantly waves his hands in the air, calling out some sort of incantation. "Darkness, envelope under my command." Suddenly, all light in the cavern is put out. It's now or never. Quickly, Serge, grab onto Magil, who's holding Kid. Together we flee the cavern, vanishing into the darkness. Led by Magil, we make our way out in the mansion. Back in the forest, we see the search party's torches here and there hunting for us. Their militant barking can be heard as they continue to get closer and closer to us. We stop behind a tree for a moment or two, catching our breath. I look down at the Kid, who's taking quite a beating. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, mate. Fine. We're completely surrounded," says Magil. "We must be on our way." Looking around, I suddenly see torches all around us, starting to close in. Kid suddenly lifts her head up. "Go, Serge. Save yourself. The troop is only after Magil and me. If they find you alone, they'll let you go." "Well, what are you talking about? I can't leave you now. Not like this." "I told you I'll be fine, mate. But..." "Don't worry. I remember now, Serge. Who I used to be. Long ago," she says, staring up into the night sky. Seeing a reflection of 100,000 stars in her eyes, I can't help but be taken in by that lonely, one-in-a-million expression of hers. "Kid, don't worry. I'm okay. I'll see you again," she says with a smile. "Someday, I know I'll see you again. Without a doubt." She softly closes her eyes. Lucca's Chrono Trigger was lost. We couldn't even get our hand on the frozen flame. But it's okay. It's all okay. Because tonight, in my heart, excuse me, a shiny new treasure was born, Serge. The single most valuable, unstealable treasure in the entire world. Saying this, Kid stares at me firmly. At me with those eyes of hers. Those bold, straight, honest eyes. Knowing who I am, it's bigger than all this. Bigger than Link's, bigger than the frozen flame. And nothing can take that away. Not as long as I'm alive. At this moment, listening to her under the starry night sky, I found myself wanting nothing more than to be here with her right now. Staring into her eyes, I only wish time could stop right at this moment, right at this instant. Goodbye, Serge. Thank you. And with that, Kid turns her back to me and disappears into the darkness. Kid! Don't follow me, please don't follow me. Unable to control my feelings, I start to rush after her. However, a shadow abruptly blocks my path. It's Magil. He slowly shakes his head, a sorrowful look in his eyes. With that, his shadowy figure draws back, dissolving into the darkness. Magil. Kid. 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 And so, the curtain closes on another tale. However, another time, after the spotlight had faded from Kid, Magil and Riddell, in another place and another time, a similar band of adventurers had come forth, equally unsuspecting of their other selves, and life went on as they strode out into the great unknown. But that's a story for another time, another day. For now, I shall put down my pen. As I softly close my grandfather's diary, I hear my mother's voice call to me from downstairs. "Didn't you hear me? Your friend is here." I turn around, already knowing who it is. My door opens quite energetically, where I see a strangely nostalgic something. "Serge, we found some ruins of an old mansion up in northern Kitsune Forest today. Come on, let's go exploring." And we have the photo. Hey, that was Radical Dreamers. I actually watched it. I don't know if there's like multiple different endings to this game. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of glancing through the guide real quick. Because I wasn't really following the guide, I was just kind of going. The only thing I really looked at was the map. Let's see. Play it again, press it again after the first selection. Okay, it sounds like there are like kind of like some different endings. It kind of depends on your relationship. There's like a relationship stat with Kid. You kind of have to maintain or something throughout the game. There's just some sort of tracker throughout this game that kind of keeps track of that. If that depends on the type of ending you'll get. But anyway, this is kind of the basic version of it. So yeah. So yeah, kind of like the further you got into this, the more you see the connections to Chrono Trigger and the elements that were kind of carried over into Chrono Cross later on. Yes, this was written up by Masato Kato, who wrote up the stuff for Chrono Trigger, I believe, and he also wrote some of the stuff for Xenogears as well, I believe. So. I know it's not completely a Spooktober game, but there is a lot of spooky and dark stuff that kind of, dark stuff that kind of occurs throughout this thing, so. But I always thought the game was a little bit spooky in kind of its own way, and yes, we do find out that the Chrono Trigger gang are apparently killed, still in this version of the story events, or at least Lucas definitely did. So some of those elements are still true in here. And although I don't recall Kid actually having the Chrono Trigger in Chrono Cross, she has it here though. So. But anyway, it's a pretty nice little, short little visual novel game. I guess Kid Latrissor entered it. I guess that's the Are these like the 7 different endings or something? Hold on. Oh yeah, there's several different enemy encounters. There's skeletons too. We didn't encounter none of the skeletons. Fall asleep. I don't know what that option fall asleep is. I don't remember that. Apparently there's also an ending where you can get killed by Kid too. Maybe. I guess that would have been an interesting ending. Okay, well anyway. Did it take me back to the title screen here, or are we... Oh yeah, the game just kind of reset here. Okay. Alright, that's gonna be it for... Okay, game pause. Pause. Stop. There we go. Okay. Alright, so that was Radical Dreamers. I hope that was interesting. It's a very interesting game to go through. Especially if you've never played it before. And because people are definitely more familiar with Chrono Cross than this game, even though this game still... The connections to Chrono Trigger kind of become a lot more apparent, definitely, when you get closer to the end here, so... the thing about Pori, the Acacia Dragoons. I think that dude in the... Gosh, hold on, I want to look something up here real quick. The guy in the dungeon, that's one of the characters from the Chrono Cross game. I don't remember. The thing is, there's like so many characters from Cross, I can't remember them all. Characters, just, yeah. No, I'm not looking for Chrono Trigger characters. I don't remember this dude. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Riddell is in the game. No, it's not Norse. I'm pretty sure this dude was in the game. I don't remember what his name was. Radius. Ah, Radius. Okay, yeah, the dude in the dungeon. That's it looks like Radius. I'm not certain if it is supposed to be him or not. But maybe Radius was based on this guy in the dungeon. Oh yeah, according to the wiki, yeah, it is Radius in the dungeon there. So interesting little connection there. The ruins underneath the mansion are supposed to be the ruins from the Kingdom of Zeal, from what I understand. So that's why it all looks like that. And apparently Magil is supposed to be Magus. Although I think in the actual Chrono Cross game, Magil is not supposed to be Magus. It's supposed to be just Magil, somebody else. So, but anyway, it's a very interesting little title. A little bit spooky, a little bit creepy and dark. So that's why it was I thought it made for an interesting Spooktober game. But anyway, that's gonna be it for tonight. It's not Halloween anymore. It's not now November now, so it can't be Spooktober anymore. So we're done with Spooktober games. So. Next week we'll start something else. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do yet. I know I still have some games on the backlog burner I need to get to, so maybe I'll do one of those in November. We'll see. So, anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.